All right, what up? What up? What up? What up? We're in the building, man. You're in the building with your homie, Mr. BOA. Let's go ahead and see what's really going on in here, man. Few people coming on in. We're gonna let them come on in. Dre Raphael is in the building. What up? C Doug is on deck. J Milan Fowler is in the building. King George III is in the building. What up, homies? China White is in again, working the wrench like the Grinch. So you know not to come in here with that beta talk, man. Clink Scales is in the building, bro. No doubt, bro. Hey, I appreciate that, Clinks. All right, as you can see, man, we're a little bit behind. We're a little bit behind the cue ball. So let's get into this thing. Welcome to another episode of the High Altitude Show. I'm your host with the most, Mr. BOA, aka Book of Alpha-Ronomy. As you can see by the title, as the homies are rolling in, we're about to get it in. Got the homie, the one and only, the brother from another mother. Annoying my mama, the same mother.
My man.
Got the homie BR313 is in the building. We ain't gonna wait for you to come in. Now we gonna wait for you to come in before we start. But the brother is about to come in, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. You know what, Ram? Let's let a few more people come in, cause once you do this
All right,
intro,
bro.
you ain't gonna be able to do it no more, bro. You know,
For sure.
once it's done, it's over.
Right, for sure.
Jonathan A is in the building. Nerd Animal Kid Rule is in the building. Michael L, what's up, homie? B Muni, what's good with you, homie? ATL Corey, my homie C from the A is in the building. KG3, King George III is in the building, man. That's what's up, homie. Nick Penn, I appreciate the super chat, brother. Alpha's up, beta's down all day, homie. I normally give them 10 to get in, but I'm going to give you one more minute. If you ain't in it, hey, man, you about to miss out like Bennett.
You got to make sure they hit that like button as well.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Man, hey, we ain't going to start, man, if the likes ain't what they supposed to be at. We just going to hang
Yeah,
out in here and chill, man.
that's the least we can do. I come into the chat, at least like the video.
Common courtesy is to just like it when you come in. I mean, you know you're
Absolutely.
gonna come in and sit in for a minute. You know, if
Mhm.
I don't think we got no trolls in here this early. You know, if you're in here, you ain't said nothing yet. So hit the thumbs up, man. Hit the thumbs up. Very simple thing to do. Don't cost no money or nothing, man. Even if you don't go to the gym, you're out of shape, man. You can hit that thumbs up. Lamar Hood and all
Exactly.
is in the building. Mr. Limber Channel, what up? Mr. MLC is in the building. What up, bro? Mike Gates is in the building. Sky Weezy is on deck. All right, man. Without further ado, allow me to introduce to you the homie, the brother from another mother, the only YouTuber that you have ever in your life heard Mr. BOA collab with, the homie, Black Ram 313. Let the people know you're in the building, homie.
Black Ram 313 back at it again, live will be away. You know why? It's because this is therapeutic, man. What up,
Ah,
BOA? And salute to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us.
what up, brother? Good to have you in the joint, man. It's been a long time coming, man. People often come in and request, man, that we link up again and make it happen again because it's always too real for those who ain't in the battlefield, man. So, here we are again. We don't do it too often, but when we do it, it's gonna be a stone blast.
Yeah, BOA, how many times? Let me see. This is our, I mean, if you count the panel, well, just us alone, I'm thinking this is maybe the third one. And as far as like panels, I think, man, it's probably about the sixth or seventh because you came on a few panels, but one on one, I think we started this year. So I want to say just one on one. This is the third one this year.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think this is third one this year.
Oh yeah.
So
And it's
we just but if most high willing that that we keep on being able to thrill it and making these brows mind hit the ceiling.
oh,
This won't be the last one, man. It won't be the last one.
oh, absolutely. It's always good to collaborate with my alpha brethren. Absolutely.
So we got a cold topic for y'all guys tonight, man. I know I get a lot of questions about this. I know Ram does as well. Are there levels of red pill awareness, or
Oh
is there
yeah.
simply red pill or blue? And If you don't have a notepad, go ahead and grab one because we're probably gonna touch every angle of this thing tonight. Hell, I got my notepad myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm liable to pick a jewel or two up out of this thing, man. Nestor Snipers in the building. Mike Gates, what up, homie? Let's let a few more people get in here, man. Hey, man, if you're in here, man, I got 44 watchers so far, man. I only got 26 thumbs up. 26, man. Come on.
Unacceptable.
Come on, man.
Unacceptable. We got at least how the likes match at least, 85% of the viewing audience, at least, right?
At least. And we should be able to get it 100, man. If you're in here and you ain't hitting the thumbs up, I don't know what you now. If you can't hear, you got a translator or something, man. Okay, cool. We're gonna give you a pass. But if you listening with your own ears, man, then I can't understand why you won't hit the thumbs up. I just don't understand it. It says I can't understand. That means it's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and hit the thumbs up, man. We're all smart. We're all intellectual individuals in here. Jay Stacks is in the building. Not Jay Stacks from the NYC, Jay Stacks from the ATL. What up, homie? Blaze is in the building. What up, Blaze? Dwayne the Money. Is that my homie Nino Brown? Nestle Snipes is in the building. What up? Nino Brown is among us. CMB, we all we got. Mr. Good Vibration 144 is in the building. So, bro, this is a topic, man. I really can't believe we haven't touched this topic so far, man. This is the red pill is what it's all about, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Man, let's talk about the latest news.
You kind of you kind of going in and out on me, bro.
Hold on, let me see what I can do. I don't know why this computer doing this. Let me close some windows. 1 second, bro. You can go in and kick it off. Let me just try to make sure.
All right, bet. So, man, before we get into the meat of the topic, man, we want to chop it over with y'all, man, about something that's going on this platform, man. Because once we get started, we'll probably forget to put this in there. But there's a real push to demonetize certain platforms, and I'm thinking that, as a matter of fact, I know that content providers like myself and Ram and a few other brothers who provide this particular genre of content are starting to get a little pressure, man, from the powers that be on this particular platform. And, no one knows their direction. So the brother BR313 and myself were chopping it up about, just trying to float more content to other avenues such as Patreon. So if you guys want to support, man, like, start trying to support on other platforms, man, because I have no idea, what's going to take place on this one. I've already had discussion with you guys about, the lady Susan, man, who's the CEO of YouTube, man. Things have definitely changed since she's taken over for obvious reasons. And it's just getting a little hectic over here, man, to really try to maneuver through what they're doing. Because, man, they came on and they are age restricted, man, like 50 of my joints. So a lot of the older joints, if you're not hearing them because, man, I had to push them on out of here, man. They're they were tripping, man. Like, they were going down a list, and so I just jumped in front of them, man, and took a whole bunch of stuff down, man. Age restricted a bunch of stuff, so it's getting serious over here, man. So those other platforms, man, they're there to just to give other avenues to provide content and to be able to not be as restricted with the delivery of the content.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. So I was hit too, and they're probably still going through my material with a fine tooth comb. So I'm gonna have to put definitely more videos on Patreon, man. The environment is getting to such where they really don't want us to be having this conversation, which means that it may be effective. CNN did a piece. They had a famous MGTOW guy. Can't think of his name right now. They have a famous MGTOW guy that they were profiling. And of course, there's a big backlash with all of that. Hopefully, it'll die down and YouTube will pull off a little bit. I mean, something similar to this happened. I believe that was last year. And a lot of platforms were demonetized, and it was a whole ad apocalypse thing. And it seemed like it's like a yearly thing that is circulate around. I'm not sure what the fate is of red pill content, but it's becoming more and more difficult to just tell the truth, man. And having a particular perspective that does not meet mainstream media ideologies, and it's like you have to be overly PC. And I guess the time is coming where we may have to go off this platform to really speak our minds, and hopefully, the brothers should support. Because I look at it like this, BOA. I don't know how you feel about it. Um, I'm listening to YouTube content more than regular television. I mean, there's nothing really out there that really speaks to our need and our ideas and our thoughts as Black men. And YouTube has provided us a forum to where we can talk about issues um, that relate to us. A lot of times, instead of having some food in front of the television, I get a couple of meals and I'm, watching YouTube while I eat. That become mainly my source of sports news, entertainment news, or whatever it is. I'm pretty much on YouTube most of the time. So what we have to do, you hate to tax the brothers, but for the content that you want to hear that's specifically geared toward you as an individual, content that speaks to us as men as individual, I have to be honest, this is going to be more expensive. I have to really push away from the television and cable subscriptions possibly, and be more proactive about red pill content, man.
Yeah, yeah, certainly, man. I mean, bro, I've already pushed that move, man. Like I said, man, like I'm fortunate enough to have access, man, to the basic direct TV package, man, which has an exorbitant amount of channels, man. I just don't have the premium channels, but I mean, I don't sit in front of TV. I ain't the Netflix and chill type, man. So that ain't my thing anyway. But man, then the bill has just gotten so exorbitant, man, that it's not logical for me to have that expenditure just for entertainment that is poor quality entertainment at best.
Yeah, and you notice it's not a whole lot of stuff to watch on cable either, man. I mean, you sports. The only thing is a couple of TV shows that you might like, and sports, and that's pretty much about it, man. There really ain't a whole lot going on television. I mean, you got thousands of channels out there, but it's not very entertaining. I mean, mainstream media and their ideas, it just doesn't resonate anymore. It's just not, it doesn't hold any weight to it. It's just like a bunch of fluff.
Yeah,
I'm way more entertained by the people that I'm subscribed to, and way more entertained when I do a live stream and interact with the audience than I could ever be with the television.
Oh yeah, certainly, man, certainly. I mean, that's why I think everyone here, man, can say that they spend more time consuming YouTube content than content from any other source. I mean, that's just YouTube is the new television, man, and I think with them knowing that, they're starting to play hardball a little more, which I can almost understand because the way their money is made, they don't charge me anything to use this platform, so
Right.
their money is made through ad revenue. So I can understand the point, but that doesn't mean that it sits well with me to have to try to restrict the way I deliver my content, and it's almost like I'm writing a script for a TV show now. When I come on, man, I have to make sure it's like this and make sure I don't go that way, and
Exactly.
sometimes I just want to go raw, man, and kick the truth, like you said, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Get a couple of super chats here, man. Hebrew Ben, I appreciate the super chat, brother. And the homie Mike Gates sent a super chat as well, man. I appreciate that. All the homies in the building, I appreciate you being in here. Once again, if you just joined me, this is your homie, Mr. BOA, aka Book of Alpha-Ronomy. You have joined me for the High Alpha 2 show with the homie, special guest, Black Ram 313 is in the building. Our topic for today is: are there levels of red pill awareness? Or is there simply red pill or blue? And just touching on that topic, bro, I realized, man, that they've started to mess with me on my streams as well.
Really? How so, bro?
Yeah, man, they've started to like my none of my notifications go out. It don't. I can set my stream 24 hours ahead of time, man, and people still come in and say they didn't get a notification. So my numbers start to go up, man, about 45 minutes in.
The same thing happened to me. And I put my notification out maybe an hour or two. I think going a day ahead, you kind of get lost in other traffic. Like if I'm subscribed to you, I'll see the notification right when you put it out, but I'm not going to see that notification again the following day. So what I try to do it maybe 2 hours before. But even then, for my numbers to go up, it takes a while as well, man. It takes a nice while for my numbers to go up. So Yeah, they trying to kick us all the way around this joint, man.
Hey man, look, we just got to do what we do, bro. King George III, I appreciate the super chat, man. Home said if not on football, then no TV, just me and YouTube all day, bro, all day. The home of my business is in the building. What up, Black Wolverine 89 is in the building. All right, homie, let's go ahead and jump into this thing, Ram. Let's not keep the people waiting, man. I mean, people pretty good about when they come in late, man. They'll go back and and try to replay it up and catch up to the main points. So the topic for the day is: are the levels of red pill,
Oh yeah.
or is there simply red pill or blue?
Mhm.
What's your take on that, bro?
Well, let's start like this. First, let's thoroughly define what the red pill actually is. And of course, we know the the main character, Neo, is faced with an option by Morpheus, played by Larry Fishburne, an option to take the red pill or the blue pill. The red pill will wake you up out of your sleep. It's symbolizes awareness, symbolizes actually being able to see reality for what it is. It's information, it's knowledge, it's wisdom, but being able to see what really is there, to be awake, to be aware, to notice things, to have understanding, to see the world as it truly, really is, to see the controllers, and so on and so forth. Somebody said I'm kind of choppy. Let me see if I can do
Yeah,
something else.
when you start off talking, it's choppy and then it levels out.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know what that is, man. I got everything working correctly, but I'm gonna try to get through it. But
Yeah,
everything on
and
this end
that's
is
why I haven't said anything else, man. I mean, I know you've already made all the adjustments you can, man. It just you never know, man. It could be, they don't like us. You can't say too many things about them while you're live, man. They'll start messing with
yeah, that's true. That's why I ain't trying to, we ain't gonna belabor the point. But so Morpheus, gave Neo that choice to be alert, to be aware, to see reality for what it is, to look past the programming that has been given to him. And the blue pill represents the sheeple, those who are unaware, those who are asleep, those who go about their daily lives, never questioning reality, never questioning the mainstream narrative, the ideas, never questioning the culture, never questioning um, the information that they have been given. So it's an awareness. And of course, there has to be levels of awareness. What do you think about that, bro?
bro. And that's exactly my take on it, man. It's the first level of awareness is even understanding that you're unaware.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough pill. Even with the movie reference you made, it took Neo a minute to be willing to accept the fact that what he was living in was kind of an alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reality of his life was not reality at all, and that's quite a pill, man. I mean, that's quite a pill to swallow. You got to break that boy down, man, with a hatchet and crumble it up to be able to swallow those pieces because it's a huge horse pill.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get from that, then you're sounding from ground zero. Your
Mm-hmm.
whole life has been a lie, so you're starting from ground zero. It takes a lot of brothers a lot of time to start moving in the other direction. They just sit there idle for a minute because it's a culture shock, man, to realize, man, that, and especially depending on how old you are when you take the red pill. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're 50 or 60 when you take the red pill, man, you're like, man, what has my life been? What do I do now? So hopefully none of the brothers said, well, if you're 60 when you get it, boy, you've been living under a rock because we out here throwing this red pill content out there, man. So, but yeah, I truly believe, man, that there have to be levels to it, but there's levels to everything. You're not gonna give an SAT to a sixth grader. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to go through at least grade 11 or 12 to get that. So, yeah, I truly believe there are levels to not just red pill awareness, but red pill acceptance. Because if you're aware on level one, but there's the next level. Before you can be aware on level two, you have to accept level two. And I think the heart it's a progression, bro. I'm still progressing into my alpha essence now. You know what I'm saying? Like a week doesn't go by that I don't learn a better way to view or do something in my life. So it's a continuous progression, man. And anybody who thinks they're there, they probably got a whole bunch of beta male stuff going on in their lives right now. So, yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. There's levels of red pill awareness. You still with me, bro? Hold on, man. Let me try to get the homie BR313 back in here, man. He's having a little trouble with his audio, man. Y'all be patient there for a minute, man. Let me try to retrieve the homie here. He'll jump back in, man. Let me go ahead and see these super chats. King George the Third, appreciate the super chat, brother. King George says that levels of red pill like levels of masonry. The longer you're on, the higher you elevate in my eyes. This real talk, bro. Real talk. King George Third said, if not on foot, yo, I already got that right there. Appreciate the super chat, homie. Thinks is in the building, man. Yeah, there are hidden signs in everything, man. There are hidden signs in everything. Let me go check this email, man. Yo, I'm telling you, man, this is how they're doing right now, man. They're doing this right now, man. So if you notice, my my uh my content is changing a little bit. My content isn't changing, my message isn't changing, but the way I deliver my content is changing. And as I always state, this is a rule that you have to I mean, you just if you're in a particular platform, if you're on a particular space, man, if you want to play, you gotta play by the rules. Like if you that's why the Houston Rockets got rid of what was this cat, man? That's why they didn't mind getting rid of Trevor Ariza when they did, and they didn't mind getting rid of this other cat. I can't remember this cat name, man. Cat played inside. They got rid of him and they kept Melo. But they did that, man, because you can't play defense like that in the NBA anymore. And if you want to win, you got to play by the rules, man. That's a part of the game.
Definitely a part of the game. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I got you, man. You're back in the game with us.
Okay. So hopefully this I don't know what's going on, man. This has been a rough day on the tube for me, man. I don't know what's happening, but we'll try to kick it in gear. I made a minor adjustment with my microphone, so hopefully that works out.
Yeah, it sounds a lot better right now. Sound a lot
Oh,
better
okay.
right now.
Okay. So hopefully that problem is resolved. But yeah, back to what we were saying about the red pill. I was trying to ask you a question about how long have you been really red pill aware? Like, does that have like an origin for you? I mean, I know you've always been around red pill game with your granddad and people in your family in the game, but when did you really start to see differences between yourself and the average guy?
Man, bro, it was really, really early on, man. It was really early on. Like, especially when it comes to um the opposite sex, when it comes to females, and that's the first way we become red pill. I mean, that's your first red pill test. Hopefully, you're you're not old enough where you're dealing with every facet of life before you catch a red pill. But that's the first way that we test and prove ourselves when it comes to red pill, man. Not being caught up in the games and the beguiling nature of the female of the nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
We make sure that there's a difference between us and the beta male simp manginas who get caught up in the foolishness. So when it comes to that, man, I'll say that I was 9. I was 9, man, and I was of course, man, like I started getting it in, man. You know what I'm saying? Intimately with chicks when I was 9.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 9, man. She was a little bit older, and I realized that like my first experience with hypergamy, besides watching what my mom did to my dad, but I didn't know I couldn't really view that as hypergamy because I was too emotionally invested in the process. I
Mm-hmm.
had too many emotions involved, so all I could look at was mom and dad. They're not together. I mean, my life is changing. But
Mm-hmm.
when I at this age, man, this little chick, man. I mean, listen, bro, she was behind closed doors. Man, it was I mean, that's pretty much nothing she wouldn't do, man. And now in retrospect, man, I realized that there was some older cat, man, uh, like had her turned out, man. There was no way she should have known these things. But but and then that like out in public, man, like she'd be all over the place, man. Like she'd do literally, any new cat come through the neighborhood. And she was just visiting the neighborhood, but any new cat come through the neighborhood, man, she was like, she was she turned into a fan. And
Wow.
and it was kind of like there was no interaction with me out in public. But behind closed doors, man, I mean, hey man, there was some things that she was doing, man, that hey man, put me on the path to really be caught up, man, with intimacy with chicks for the first half of my life there, man. And that was my first experience with it, man. I said, you know what, man, you cannot ever worry about anything that a chick says or does. So I learned then to start only caring about her interaction with me. So and with me caring about that, I realized there was no need for me to ever try to be in a relationship, because that means I'd have to, I couldn't different at that point. I couldn't differentiate between being with the nemesis and not worrying about what she did if I'm going to claim her as my girl. You know what I'm saying? When you claim her as your girl, there's certain rights that you feel like you have to her. And I learned then, man, to stay away from it. So I think my very first time realizing that I would never view girls the same way that other cats did, man, was I was 9, bro.
9 years old. Wow. I started to notice a difference in the way things were maybe about 12 or 13, man. Things didn't always disappear as they seem. And I saw how powerful um, game is and was. Uh, really have an effect. We know other things are important too. But yeah, man, I started seeing players in the neighborhood, man, and how certain words and certain styles kind of got a reaction, man. And I was like, wow. And then that's when I started to really pay attention to the mind of the female and the process of game. I was never a POA, man. This guy's been doing this in the neighborhood just, for forever, man. It ain't like, these guys came out, PUAs came out, acting like this stuff was new information. They just pretty much put a title on it and, tried to give it a definition. But for the most part, man, this is what guys have been doing, in the hood all across America, man, in every city. So I started to just really, you know, look more into that. And man, I discovered a whole different world. But yeah. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, yeah, I got you, man. I got you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still like when you first started, it's still kind of going in, but I mean, we
Kind of choppy. Okay.
not
You
not
know, you
not
know
not
what?
not so much that we can't keep it moving. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
okay.
Yeah.
And I never had that problem before. It could be because right now I'm in the process of YouTube going through my videos and demonetizing them. So maybe they got like something open on their end that kind of makes this end a little shabby,
Right,
'cause-
right.
so right, I mean, as we they going through various videos, just pop them. So yeah, it's hopefully we can ride through this storm. But yeah, it's looking ugly, man. I think I had some videos I wanted to upload, but I think I'm gonna have to go on and just put those videos on Patreon and go from there.
Yeah,
Cause yeah, it's getting ugly. But
yeah,
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 but let's continue on, bro.
yeah. No doubt, no doubt. So when we talk about the levels of red pill awareness, have you noticed that it seems like there's a stopping point for the majority of men? They understand the red pill, they
Hmm.
understand the viewpoint they should have, but they cannot bring themselves to pull away from the idea that there's gonna be that chick that's different. They think she's gonna be there. They think that if they just got to make sure they don't get caught up with the wrong one, because the right one is coming. So they can never
Hmm.
fully transition into the fullness of the red pill. See, there comes a point where you don't take red pills anymore. You become an administrator of red pills. So at a certain point, if you've been on the red pill for 10 years, like at some point you shouldn't be still taking red pills. You should be administering red pills. But there are men right now that I know, bro, who
Hmm.
understand they've gone through 2 or 3 marriages already, man, and they're open to marrying
Mm.
another woman again.
Wow, it never stops.
Yeah, I mean, bro, they can. It doesn't matter what they lose, man. They always say she was just the wrong one. I mean, brother, after 3, maybe your decision making should come into question. So yeah, but I've noticed, man, that some brothers, man, who I think this is the problem, bro. I think
Mm.
the rage thing. Let's talk about the rage thing for a minute.
Oh yeah.
because I truly believe that the rage is a phase between the blue and red pill. If you've been blue pill your entire life, when you start to take red pills, it's just like, you know, coming off of any addiction. When you put someone in a rehab facility, it is not going to be easy for them in the beginning. They're going to have withdrawal symptoms. Most people who leave rehab leave within the first 60 days of rehab
Mm.
because the pull for that drug is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
So the rage area is between the red and blue pill. I say between the awareness of red and blue pill. Once you become aware of the red pill, yeah, your body's gonna reject it. Your body's going, nah, man, this ain't how we live. This ain't how we were
Mm-hmm.
raised. We were taught that, women are the prize. You're looking for a wife. He who found that the wife, I mean, what are you doing? Or what are you introducing to us? We don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have that rage period, and it's not really rage, it is confusion. You're in an area where you don't know if what you're learning is what you should believe or if it's all game, because there's no way. You think about us, Ram, we're cocky.
Mm-hmm.
As men, we think we're intellectually superior.
Absolutely.
So when you tell us that the way we've thought, the way we've been living our entire lives is wrong, no man is just going to say, okay, you're right. It's hard to believe that you've been living like a fool your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the rage area come from. So I'm starting to refer to it as the blue pill rage, as well. You know what? I'll call it the purple pill rage. I always say there's no purple pill, but I think that's the purple pill phase. The only purple pill phase is the rage phase, where you're a blue pillar, but you're starting to take red pills, so your blue is
Mm-hmm.
purple now.
And then I think what sets up is kind of a what is called a cognitive dissonance. It's like what you know is right versus how everybody else reacts to certain stimuli. So you have like a internal battle going on within you when it comes to the red pill, because you're trying to, how can I say, you're trying to rationalize why this shouldn't be reality when you realize what female nature really is, and that you've been taught that she's made of sugar and spice and everything nice. And that's not true. She has our issues and probably more than you. And not all of them are benevolent, and these little creatures that are so nice and so loving and so accommodating. That's not true. And it's hard to really fathom that, yes, the one that you're involved with is also like that too, because we always think we are the exception, but there really aren't many exceptions. So I think that's where the rage comes in at, is that, wow, I cannot believe that my girl lied to me, that my girl stepped out, that my girl left me. It's hard to believe those things.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. Yeah, and I really, bro, I believe that. I think that there's a misconception that, and this misconception is mostly perpetuated by the nemesis. I mean, all of the misconceptions about interaction between male and female are perpetuated by the nemesis, of course. But there's this but men fall for it. That's the problem with her misconceptions. Men start to accept it as probable fact,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a misconception that men don't love as hard as women do. But the problem is, men are the only ones who love. If a man goes into that emotional bag for a woman, man, he is there. Like, he is there. And that's why men take it harder after a breakup, because when a man allows himself to be emotionally attached to the opposite being, it's thorough. It's true. He's there. There is no game in him. Like, we don't play emotional games because we can't play emotional games. We either in or out emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the times, man, men find themselves trapped in that blue pill mindset, that purple pill Passover, as I call it,
Mm.
because they understand how great it feels to believe in the lie. When you
Mm.
believe the lie is wonderful to you.
Oh yeah.
You feel like you're being loved. You feel like you're being appreciated. You feel like everything that she's saying to you is because of you,
Mm-hmm.
until you realize that it's all game to manipulate you in the behavior that she feels benefits her.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough place to be in, bro. Real tough place to be in.
Yep. And it's comfortable. It's comfortable not to question. It's comfortable to go along with the masses, to go with the flow. Very, very comfortable. And you get all types of backlash when you start to question reality. Um, Male and female, family, your friends, they get to looking at you if you have grown horns on your head. And how can you not believe exactly what we believe, say what we say, and think the way we think? Um, I remember my family members thought I was just stone cold crazy when I told them that I don't deal with so-called Thanksgiving. I don't deal with it. And the women that I was dealing with when I was making that transition, they thought I was stone cold crazy. I even had women leave me alone when I mentioned that, hey, I'm not dealing with none of these pagan days. That's all part of my personal red pill awakening. And that's the cost. See, the red pill is going to cost you something. It's going to cost you family and friends. It's going to cost you popularity. It's going to cost you, um, you know, backlash and gossip, and and the red pill is a lonely pill, and you have to really be that lone wolf. And then when you talk and interact with people, and certain times, the red pill in you, it has a tendency just to spill out. So I've learned over the years, man, to be very disciplined and very patient and try to separate myself. BOA, it's been times I was having a conversation with somebody. Let me give you a quick scenario real quick. I know you can attest to this too. So sometimes I'm talking to my homies, man. I hear something that just don't make any sense to me, but I have to realize the world I'm living in, because certain things as a red pillar, they're not part of my world. So, if I'm talking to guys and they'll talk about, oh man, I got caught up in you know, uh, I was cheating on my girl, and I had to stop myself like, what? Because in my mind, such a term doesn't exist. To me, there's no such thing as cheating on your woman by dealing with another woman. That's not even in my mind. I don't even think that way. Not even a little bit. And of course, there was a time when I was much younger when I did think that way. But I'm so far removed from that. Is that when I hear it, I have to really, I have to catch myself and realize I'm talking and I'm dealing with the blueprint world. You have experience with that, BOA?
Man, bro, I have I actually do have an experience with that. But I mean, the thing is, man, I mean, you can this is the thing about the nemesis. She will attempt to deal with whatever you're saying because she lives in a fantasy world. So if you tell her that, listen, you can be my number one, but you probably won't ever be my only one, she'll just keep chugging right along with you. Like, okay, well, whatever. Okay, I can deal with that. But she can't. She knows she can't, but she doesn't believe you. She
Mm-hmm.
believes that she's so great. She's going to
Mm-hmm.
be such an influence on you. She believes in her power of control that she's going to cause you to not be that. Now, I'll tell you where the problem comes in. When you, as a man, get to that point where you start to value her just enough to tell her, well, okay, I mean, she's finally got you. Okay, all right, just going to be me and you. I think at that point, you have lowered yourself to. Now, there's two ways to look at this. You can look at it and say, she doesn't deserve the truth. You know what I'm saying? Who is she? She doesn't deserve any truth. She deserves whatever I tell her. I mean, who is she?
Exactly.
But then there's also the other way to look at it, saying, I was telling the truth at first.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was telling the truth at first about who I am, about, it's never going to be a monogamous thing, it gets to a point where I lower myself to a man who is going to tell her what she wants to hear. That's my entire problem with that scenario. Once you tell her what she wants to hear,
Mm-hmm.
you're taking on blue pill activity
Mm-hmm.
because you're trying to avoid the backlash from her. Or you
Absolutely.
continuing to be who you are because you started to value her. You started to have little bitty beta thoughts in there about some NAWALT stuff going on, obviously, man. And it's so yeah. I've been there, man. And with me, my scenario was I got to the point where I just started telling her to lie. And I never believed it. There was no point that there's no that was not a snowball chance, man, in the devil's backyard, homie, that it was gonna ever be me and her. But I got to the point where I told her it would. And I look back on that and I say, you know what, man? If I won't call myself a cheater, I'll call myself a liar, but not
Mm,
for the sake of telling a lie to benefit myself, telling a lie to benefit her, because it
mm,
didn't benefit me at all. So
mm,
I felt pretty weak about it, man. It took me a couple years to get over that, man. It took me a couple years to get over the fact that I had lowered myself to that point where I actually thought about sparing her feelings, or I don't know what the hell I was doing, bro. To be honest with you, I still think about it now. I can't figure it out, man. So let me give a disclaimer here, man. I know I always tell the homies, man, I ain't never been on no blue pill stuff, homie. I've been out for all this time. These chicks can vouch for me. I just told you about the scenario, man, where for me, I don't know how anybody else feels about it. For me, man, that I was a beta male simp mangina doing that, man. The very moment I told her what she wanted to hear, to go along to get along, I was a beta male simp mangina, man.
mhm.
So, hey man, there is no line in therapy, man. So
No
you
line in
understand.
therapy. No line in therapy. And since we talking about therapy,
Hey,
all
let,
you
let, let, let me give a couple shots out to these super
okay, bro.
chats right quick, bro.
Right.
Let's see here, man. I done missed a couple of cats here. Oh, the homie Kurt Nujapia. What's up, Kurt? Homie said, pardon his tardiness. I mean, you're right on time, bro. You in the building with us, man. Appreciate you being here. And the homie Rock has hit us up with a super chat. Appreciate that, brother. I gave you a wrench, man. So if you want to put your PayPal in the in the chat, you can, man.
Okay, appreciate that, bro.
All right. So let's let's get. You know what, bro? Let me touch on something right quick, man. I got to
Mhm.
touch on this.
Go ahead, bro.
I hear a lot of cats talking about if you're alpha, you ain't got to say you alpha. You ain't got to talk about being alpha. You ain't got to
Um,
beat your chest about being alpha. Well, tell me this. Why is the Sigma male allowed to say, well, I'm a Sigma male? That's what I am.
mhm.
Why is the thug allowed to say, I'm a thug, baby, because I'm a thug? Why is he allowed to say that? Why is every other man who's any other thing, who makes any other distinction about himself? I've never heard anybody tell Black Ram, hey, you shouldn't say you're ill more. A real ill more doesn't have to say he's ill more.
Exactly.
I never hear
Exactly.
that. It's only when a
Exactly.
man says he's alpha. I
Mhm.
don't understand the problem with that. You see, saying that the alpha male doesn't exist is a 100% beta male mindset.
Mhm.
So nobody says the sigma male, the beta male, the simp, the mangina, or any other man doesn't exist. These men can brag about what kind of man they are and even write a song about it, print a t-shirt with it on the front of it,
Mhm.
but not the alpha male. And I say that certain things like that are things that I listen for to make sure that I keep beta males out of my midst.
Oh yeah. And it's like this. It's like, hey, how you see yourself, how you present yourself, that's who you are. Period. And anybody who has something to say about it, they want you to, it's like this. A lot of guys, they have a lot of feminine energy and they want you to live according to their mindset. We men over here, we do what we do. We live life on our terms. So we don't submit to somebody ideology of us. That ain't alpha. That ain't who you are as a man. I look at myself as a God king, small G. Now I don't have no $1 billion. I don't have no jet, but that's who I see myself internally. I'm built for rulership. I go to a job every day. That's not something I'm proud of. I don't see myself as a worker. I see myself as a king without a kingdom. Nevertheless, I'm a king. This is why, for me, life is somewhat displeasing because I know the way things should be. I should be reigning as a king. I shouldn't be having an existence in which I'm dependent on anything and anybody. But I believe it'll be greater later. However, the point is this, man. I live constantly in my reality. I live constantly in how I see myself from the inside out. And that's what you're going to see when you see me. So for you, that's being a king or a kingdom, that's my reality. I said, you do be away. And of course, you don't do this. We don't do this. We don't let other people determine what our reality is. Don't do it. We what we want to be. We who we are. And that's
Church,
how that goes for sure, bro.
church. And that's the reality of it, bro. I will give your opinion consideration if you have rolled with me as long as I have rolled with me. And there is no one who can say that they have. When that person shows up, I'll be like, okay, well, let's sit down. Tell me what you think about me. In the meantime, it doesn't matter, man. But I I listen to, and furthermore, who cares what a man calls himself? Something's wrong with a man who cares about what another man calls himself or refers to himself as or how he presents himself.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not in a personal relationship with you, or we're not business partners, or I have to be concerned about that, I have not a care in the world, man, how you present yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think that's what it is, man. But it's a tough thing, BOA. That's why, not, I mean, I'm calling you me. It's a tough thing, Ram, when and that's why it's such a lonely existence, because the more people you have around you, the more likely you are to be influenced by those people.
Mm-hmm.
We're men, we're strong men, but even the strongest man can be weighed down with a burden too heavy for him if he continues to take on extra weight. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, man, hey man, what they say, I've always been the type man. If you say I'm something, man, I'm either gonna, if it's good, I'm gonna do something else because I don't want you to think I'm good, and if it's bad, I'm gonna do just that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So yeah, that's yeah,
And
it's a
that's why we we alone out here. We usually fly alone, man. You the lone wolf and I'm in the shadows, man, because I find it, have two minds. I have the mind of being awakened, but sometimes you have to interact with others in your day-to-day life. So what I have to do is I have to turn that mindset around a little bit and say, okay, let me, I'm going into this job, I'm going into this venue, let me, not necessarily not be who I am, but let me remember that I'm in a war zone now. I'm around others who can't absorb anything talking about and nothing of who I am, and would never see things the way I see them and for the reality of the situation. So,
yeah,
so there's always that transition when you got to know. And this is why, I really enjoy live streams and putting out videos, because then and only then, is there an opportunity to really interact with like-minded people. And sometimes you have guys BOA fighting you in the comment section because they just not quite sure themselves just yet. But they
yeah,
on their way. They on their way, but they still got some fight in them. I've had guys come tell me, man, at first, like, Ram, I was disagreeing with everything you said until I really started thinking about it and I couldn't find any fault with it. Oh, yeah. Not that the information one that I'm perfect per se, but when you start to really closely examine the red pill, man, and I mean, everything, it's just self-evident.
yeah,
Self-evident.
yeah, yeah. I tell men all the time, bro, don't reject it until you dissect it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you give me any bit of information, now if it's information that I've already dissected, there's no need for me to dissect it twice. But yeah, if you give me some information, man, it can be anything, man. You can tell me, the sun is really not hot. The clouds make it hot. I'm gonna go do some research. You know what I'm saying? I got to find out what this man is saying,
Right.
because if you have this knowledge, I know what most people think. I want to equip myself with knowledge that the average individual does not have. So yeah, I'm gonna go in like that. But a lot of times, man, these brothers are out here and they simply cannot believe that. Especially, when you do a lot of changes, man, when you make a lot of changes in your life, it's easy to feel like you've arrived at the echelon of
Mm-hmm.
your existence. And then you realize that, hey man, there's more information and even more information. Yeah,
Man, it
I
never
thought I was at
stopped.
the mountain top. I'm just on a cliff. The mountaintop, I can't even see the top yet.
Right. I mean, you keep growing in this thing, man, and you keep seeing things. I mean, I see things this year that I didn't see last year and the year before, and I'm like, wow, man. You know, the thing, more that I know, the more I realize that I don't one of those things.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you this, Ram. Do you believe that a man can fake the red pill? Like he can be a 100% blue pillar,
Mm-hmm.
but he can grasp the red pill without actually grasping it. You know what I'm saying? You can tell when you're talking to a man who's taking red pills.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell because there's a certain fire and a certain energy about it in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
But can a man fake his way into your circle by acting as if he's red pill?
You know what? I think initially, it's kind of like the I can come off, but here go the thing that I realized. This information is so potent, man. It's only a matter of time to where you're going to be tried by someone, somewhere, and somehow. You're going to be tried, and that's to see internally if you really absorb this material, if you really have that strong constitution. If you're dealing with a woman, she's going to come and test you. She's going to give you an ultimatum, and as men, we don't do ultimatums. You're going to try to give you, she's going to try to put you. She don't even know it. She don't know it. But your heart for this thing will be tested. And I think what happens a lot of times, BOA, is when the test comes, guys fail, and they fail hard, and they have to go back to the drawing board and take more red pills and try to absorb the knowledge even more so, because not everybody is ready for it. See, it's one thing to think about this stuff and talk about this stuff. It's another thing to put it in real world practice.
Yeah, yeah. Now that's true talk. That's true talk, man. It's the thing is, bro. And I wish sometimes I wish that I could, for a moment, just be the type who would, uh, you know, push those tests upon me. You know what I'm saying? But you just have to wait it out, man. I mean, you just have to. When and I'm to the point now where I thrive so much on the energy of an individual that if the energy is off, I'm gonna trust that you shouldn't be around me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care if I'm wrong or right. I just think I'm right because I'm just listening to what the energy tells me. So if at any point your energy, man, your energy could be everything could be great at any point. If the energy tells me that, hey man, something's off about this person, I don't believe it. Hey man, something's off about you. Or trying to, man, my life is too precious to me for me to keep people around me that could be detrimental, not to my existence per se, but to the things I'm trying to accomplish, to the path I'm on. It's simply put, when Lot was leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, his wife turned around and turned to a pillar of salt. Lot was a man of God. The Most High came in and said, listen, I'm going to bring you out of here, you and your family. Just don't turn around. I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you, if Lot had turned around, as much love as the Most High had for him, I bet he would turn to a pillar of salt if he had turned around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it gets
Absolutely.
to the point where you, as a man, have to not allow people around you who can pull you in the wrong direction. And
Mm-hmm.
Lot was G for that, man.
Mm-hmm.
That shows that fellow was that Lot was not a beta male, because the average beta male would, oh no, my wife, she turned into a pillar. Got two pillars of salt there now. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's a good point, because Lot heard the word of the Most High, and unlike Adam, and unlike a lot of people before Lot and after Lot, they're gonna stop and consider that woman. But you know how people say, "Oh, we gotta put God first."
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lot actually did put the Most High first
Sure.
in actuality and in reality. And man, we don't give Lot his credit, man, but he was the man.
Oh yeah, that was thorough, man. That was thorough. So
Mm-hmm.
let me give a shout out to homie Leroy Champagne, man, in the building. Homie says great job. Send the super chat. Appreciate that, brother. And the homie Mike Gates is in the building. Send the super chat. Mike says, man, I work for the school system in Chicago and is dominated by women and betas. I got to stand strong. I'm pretty much an army of one. That's why we need each other. Real talk, bro. I mean, that is one thing about this platform. It has provided us an opportunity to understand that though we may be alone in our own environment, we're not alone in the world. Because you think about, brother, without being able to reach out and touch bases with all these like-minded men on this platform, what other platform are you going to go on and realize that, you know what, the strength that I get here from knowing that there are many other men who share my outlook on the world. I can't sit here and lie and tell you that it doesn't benefit me in my everyday. It benefits me tremendously in my everyday, because I know whatever I see out here, I can come in here and chop it up in the atmosphere with the homies,
Mm-hmm.
and get their feedback. And then it's tough, bro. It's tough out here, man, to be out here. And I started to feel more and more like an outcast. Like the crazy, even worse than being an outcast, because other people have exiled you, is to have to cause yourself to be an outcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough pill, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's look at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If if you claim to be red pill, or you claim to be Ilmore, or if you're alpha, if you're sigma, if you're mixtape, if you're whatever you are, do you believe that if you're not authentic, eventually someone's gonna call you out?
Oh yeah.
Like, if you're, let's say you're on this platform, any other platform. Let's we're content providers. Just use content provider for an example.
Mm-hmm.
If you're spewing something and you're vouching that you're this and you're that and this is how you live and this is how, do you believe that eventually someone's gonna call you out?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's all a part of that test. Any principle that you stand on, anything that you stand for, at some point, at some time, you're gonna meet resistance. In fact, BOA, dig this here. I don't really think you for you call yourself red pill until you've been tested. Think you can. It's easy, but what have you had to sacrifice? What have you had to stand for? What have you had to give up? What did you have to endure in the name of the truth? And until you actually been pushed on your ideas, whether to compromise them or not, I don't think it's fair to say that's what you are. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
give you an example, and I use this before. I ain't it's so somewhere, but your woman that you love come to you, telling you what she ain't gonna do and what you better do, and give you ultimatums. And yeah, you may stand up at first, but can you, when she walk away, can you not call? Can you
Mm-hmm.
not text? Now, you told her what it's gonna be. You told her what it is. But can you actually endure the pain of not having her? All so that you can be who you are, to stand on your ideas, to stand on your principles. Can you put that kind of work in? Or are you going to do this? Text her, baby, I'm sorry. Um, I really shouldn't feel that way. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to treat you, like this, like that. I understand why you want me to stop saying this and stop doing that and stop doing this. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna come home on time. All this base stuff. Are you willing to watch her walk out the door for the sake of what you believe and how you carry yourself and who you are? That's the test right there. And let me tell you, a lot of guys fail that test.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I know a couple of cats right now that are failing that test miserably. I mean, I know them through business, but they are, man, they are. You talking about failing the test, man? They're failing that test. And
Mhm.
I think the main issue with these cats, man, is, especially here, especially, and not just here on this platform, but online. Man, you can be whoever you want to be
Mhm.
on social media. You can be
Exactly.
whoever you want to be, man. I mean, you can be a millionaire You know, they catch this boy Bow Wow all the time, flossing with money that ain't his, and talk about he on a private jet, man, and all types of things. You can be whoever you want to be here. And I tell you the saddest case of blue pill, brother. The saddest case of blue pill is a man who's only red pill through his social media personas. He lives a blue pill life. He's probably got an old lady at home that treats him like a sucker. But online, he's this red pill. You know, he's this reactive red pill guy. You know, he's not a beta. He can be. It's an escape from the reality of his life. And how low has a man gone, bro, when he has to adopt the fantasy outlet mindset? I call it the fantasy outlet mindset of the nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the nemesis can stay in a situation where and who knows what she's doing. You know, hey man, maybe she's she's riling this cat up, but that's why she can stay in a situation where she's been brutally beaten, not because she likes it, but because she has a fantasy outlet mindset where there's somewhere she can go. There's one situation she can pin her mind to and say, well, it's not like that all the time. Sometimes it's good. That's why she can stay in a situation. She is more likely to stay in a situation where she's been at the same job for 10 years and haven't has not only has she not gotten any type of raise, she hadn't even got an increase. And I'll talk about the difference between a raise and an increase some other time. But she'll stay there because she can pin her mind to the fact, well, sometime I could be late for lunch. I can be late coming back from lunch, or I can be late a little bit in the morning and nobody says anything. When you're in that mindset as a man, I think all it takes for you, man, to cross the line over, man, into homosexuality, man, is the right situation present itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a very openly feminine mindset.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And like the succubus, the nemesis, a lot of times their principles are circumstantial. Their principles, which they really don't have principles, honestly. But what they claim they would stand for, what they claim they would or wouldn't do, is always circumstantial. Always, always, always. I'm not going to even use the word principle with the succubus because succubus actually don't even have any principles. But it's highly movable. But a lot of guys are in that same spirit. I know of quite a few supposed red pill YouTubers that were exposed, and it showed that they really aren't about that life, man. And I ain't talking about making mistakes, anything like that, because we all make mistakes. I'm talking about like something that they consistently in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So sometimes you know you can pretend, but at some point in time, the real from the fake will definitely be separated
yeah,
for
certainly,
sure.
certainly, certainly. And and another thing, bro, is I feel like you can when you get to a certain level of red pill awareness, like you start to get to a point where you don't even think about the fact that you're red pill aware. It's just a part
Mm-hmm.
of your life. It's just how you live your life. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I realized, man, that you can separate from, the higher levels of red pill and the lower levels is the interaction with men who continue to show themselves, present themselves as obstacles to red pill advancement. And, so it's one of these things, man, where here recently, man, I had a little situation and I realized that, I've let it go, but someone else hasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like my name is still being called. My name, I'm still being talked about, but I will never address it again in any other kind of way because it's done. Like what more can I do? It's the same thing. Like I view that as interacting with a female. Like if she continues to do the same thing over and over, like if your wife, let's look at Scottie Pippen for an example. Perfect recent example. There are certain things once they're done, you give the one reprimand and it's over. The reprimand is I'm gonna address it and I'm done. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about this, bro. I know you haven't said anything about it, but I had some brothers recently. You wouldn't believe how many brothers came to that Scottie Pippen vid, man, and
Oh yeah, I heard
said
you
that
mention it.
they understand why he would take her back, bro.
Man,
At least 50% of the men who responded.
wow, it's real out here, bro. It
I
is
could not
real
believe
out
it,
here,
bro. I said, man, are you serious right now? Yo,
man.
what kind of pedestalization is that?
And you know what, BOA, let me speak to that, man. And shout out to Dre Warfiel for his PayPal donation. Appreciate that, Dre. Um, let's dissect this real quick, man. The male psyche and ego is so dependent on female validation that it becomes every part of who he is, that female validation. Dealing with the female, if you have no real sense of self worth and no sense of what it really means to be alone, your whole identity is wrapped up within this female, and you just cannot see life without her. Sad part is this: is that sounds beautiful, sounds like love, and it is love. However, the moment she senses that you cannot live life without her, the world is just in a negative vibe. Once she senses that, and once she knows that, once she can really feel that you cannot live without her, 9 times out of 10, you will be living without her. It's one of those things, man, that just turns a woman off when you become codependent on her emotionally. And this is what it is. It's not about sex. It's not about uh it for the male. It's not about any of those things. It's simply about his heart. And here go the thing, BOA. A guy is raised with a certain, feminine mindset because of, where we come from as black folk in these inner cities, being raised largely by single mothers. And even if not, 9 times out of 10, you got strong willed aunts and strong willed mothers and sisters. So you get to think in certain ways based on that. So that's the number one obstacle to overcome. But then after that, you're taking what is natural for you, natural for a man to want to love a woman, protect her, and guide her. And what happens is all of that goodness that you have in you is used against you. And the sad part is that it will destroy you. A lot of men commit suicide over their women, man. And this is why we need therapy. This is why my channel is in existence, because we need therapy. We need to learn and know that there's a way out of this, that there's a different way to live. However, this is where the red pill part come in, because this process, brother, is painful for many. Because we not all, don't all wake up red pill, and some of us don't have as much of a strong constitution as others. So the process itself of emerging from blue to red, it hurts. Because let me tell you one thing: after man has had his food, once a man gets his clothing, once a man has his shelter, and I mean his next priority, once he's fed, once he's clothed, the next priority is his woman, man. And here go what men want to do. It's real simple what men want. Men want to love their woman freely and wholeheartedly and receive that love back. And guess what? On the surface, on his face, there is nothing wrong with that. But that is not the world we're living in. That's the problem. So when I come with red, say, brother, no, brother. Understand, she will never love you. Don't believe that. She will always leave you. But I want to believe that. You gotta be asking yourself, how
Hey,
can she have done that to me? Go ahead, bro.
Man, I know what you just spit was deep, but man, we could hardly hear any of it.
Oh, I was breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up pretty bad on that one.
Oh man, I don't know what is wrong.
And I mean, listen, bro. I mean, the I heard the change in your tone. I knew you were about to go in, so I couldn't jump in ahead of that. But yeah, it's
Wow.
but you know, bro, I should just let you keep rolling, man. My bad. I should just let you keep rolling, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm connected and everything, man. I don't know.
They own us, bro. They own us, man.
Yeah, I think it's a YouTube thing.
Yeah,
I don't really think this because this is how I go live all the time. I don't have nothing different. I don't have no extra windows open. I don't have nothing running in the background. Yeah, I think that I think this is the purge, man.
yeah, yeah. Hey, man, it may have something to do with it may have something to do with BOA channel, man. Who knows? I mean, because I
Yeah,
listen to you all the time, bro, and I don't never hear you sounding like this.
man.
So, but hey, man, it's one of those things, man, where um I should just let you keep rolling, man, because the energy, what I'm saying, we couldn't really hear you,
Yeah.
but the energy was there.
Wow. So did you hear anything that I said though? I mean, or was it just mainly bits and pieces?
I could pick enough out to get the gist of what you were saying, but I
Oh
noticed that the
wow.
brothers in the chat are starting to speak on the mic and how you're breaking up. So I don't know if they can hear as well as I can.
Wow.
The
You
stream.
know, Darius just did a video about the purge. Sandman, I'm sure everybody knows who Sandman is. I believe they demonetized every single one of his videos. Mr. Lemmer just put in the chat that Replicant Fish just uploaded something on the purge, and I think that's probably why I'm probably breaking up because everything here is the same.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, bro. Just a couple of chats ago, man, we had a uh, a Google agent in here, man, lurking
Really?
around. Yeah, man, had a moderator catcher in here, man, lurking around, man. And
Wow,
I think
man.
it had to do. I think it was the one where I talked about strong women versus feminists, man, and they were here lurking around then, bro. So
Wow.
of course, as you can see, that stream is no longer up. I didn't even move it to Patreon. I just took it down completely.
Wow.
So it is what it is, man. I mean, the thing is, if they're gonna, I mean, but me myself, I interact with YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
talk to them all the time. I mean, I interact with them. I talk to them, man, and I figure out information about, man, about how to, how to make this thing work. So it's one of those things, man. I think they're gonna come in and throw a monkey wrench. Hell, they could shut the whole stream down, man. But so at least it's still in here able to chop it up, man. So
Yeah. And you know what? I hope that it's not just wishful thinking, but this happened about 2 years ago. So maybe the storm will pass, hopefully, and maybe it's just one of those things for now because of the CNN piece.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so I think maybe they just pushing that narrative. But you know how things go. Things dial up and then it dies back down, and then things start to normalize. So hopefully in the future, um, they can kind of bag up off us, man. Because then again, BOA, maybe this is a sign of the times, brother.
for sure, for sure. When it comes to things like this, man, I'm always a skeptic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I try to be optimistic in most scenarios in life, but with something like this, I have to see what's going on. I mean, but the holidays coming up, man. Everybody kind of levels off and gets into the holiday spirit coming up here, man. So I
Mm-hmm.
think we'll be okay, man. Let me give a couple super chat shout outs here, man. Milkman the Trucker says, good to hear y'all chopping it up again. Black Soul Star Ilmore says super chat. Dre Raphael says super chat. Elzu Knowledge is in the building. What up, bro? And C Doug says a super chat and says, blessings, brothers. Bless up to you, my brother. See, man, I just missed one. James Johnson, what's good, brother? Good to see you in the building as well, bro. So, it's one of those things, man. I've, there's a couple of times, man, I wanted to stop you and say, hey, bro, hey, do you remember what you just said, bro? Start over again because you clear it up now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I can get back into it though. That ain't
yeah,
no
yeah, yeah,
problem.
yeah.
We do this here, brother. This is
Oh,
what
yeah,
we
for sure,
do.
for sure, for sure.
But if I start going out, just somebody quickly let me know in the chat so maybe I can slow down a little bit so maybe it can catch up. But what I was saying is that the man fall in love with women and we really, really just want to love them. That's all we really want, man. After we have, and listen, most men do not mind taking care of a woman. Don't mind at all. We just want a loyal, faithful wife, most of us and many of us, man. And unlike you and me, BOA, A lot of guys are willing to be monogamous. They're willing to do that. But um, we just don't have a society in which rewards that. I'll say this always, it's her world today. And her, by default, she's going to get bored with a guy that's in love with her. There's nothing else to see there. Oh, this guy in love with me. He'll never go anywhere, and I leave. It's going to break his heart. Been there, done that. Let me go for the next challenge. Believe it or not, a lot of, the succubi, they like uncertainty. And what is the end of a relationship, what destroys a relationship is familiarity and boredom. And a lot of guys want stability. So they don't know how to keep the female on edge. But let me say this, let me give this disclaimer. When I say, she doesn't like stability, she likes chaos. When I say that she don't like what's familiar, I'm talking about those who are undeveloped. But the problem is, most of our women are undeveloped. So a man just simply wants to love his woman. So a guy like Scottie Pippen, so, and I'm not saying that he's not a simp. Of course he's a simp. It's Black Ram. Of course he's a simp. But, sometimes we have to try, although it may be hard, to put our feet in his shoes just for a moment, man. That man, and this is what we never say, that man really loves that woman. Now think about it. A guy, his wealth means nothing to him. Let me say this again. For most brothers, now of course it's not me and you, BOA, but for most brothers, his wealth means nothing to him. He'll give it all away for the love of a woman. This is why they get married over and over again. Although they may have money up the wazoo, he'll still get married and risk taking, get all of his bread took. You remember this song? I think you probably even talked about this. I think it was by Jodeci. I think the song is called Fiendin'. You remember that, BOA?
Yeah, I remember that.
Now, what's his main line of that song? I'll give you my money,
yeah,
my house, and my car. Not for her hand in marriage, brother, but for one hit, he said. One hit. And what we don't like to recognize is that for us men, not all of us, I'm talking about the blue pill man. We're talking about the red pill and blue pill. For the blue pill man, he's so stuck in his need for validation and love and attention from the female, is that he's willing to give up everything he is just for his woman. Women don't have that kind of love, man. It's very rare when you can find a woman that's willing to be poor with you. Very rare. I'm talking about really poor. I'm talking about so down with your man. Now, I ain't saying there's not any. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's not any. I'm talking about we'll be on that park bench with you, talking about we in this together. Now, how many can you meet like that? Park bench in the public, homeless with you. And rather be homeless than be without you, man. A man has that kind of love for his woman, but I doubt if it's the other way around. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let me
yeah. Bro. The reality of the situation, man, is I can't. I mean, any man who disputes anything you just said, man, it's just not being realistic. In a perfect world, in a perfect world, in a perfectly masculine world, the majority of men would not mind uh, providing for a family, and the majority of men would not mind. The majority of men would not mind being monogamous. I do believe that the majority of men, were it not for the nature of the nemesis, would thoroughly enjoy having just one.
Mm-hmm.
And the you can tell by the anger over the nature of the nemesis which men are really wish that there would be a perfect world. The Nawat dream is real. And if that unicorn shows up, men would fight each other, men would bite each other, men would stab each other, men would grab each other, men would shoot each other. to have that unicorn if it indeed truly was a unicorn. So I find myself, man, I try not to be so hard on those men who are still, not every man is gonna, you know, come fully red pill. There are men who are blue pill by nature. They're gonna be blue pill.
Mm-hmm.
They simply consume red pills as a mean to not get caught up in those
Mm-hmm.
situations again. But it's not because they don't desire them. They just get to a point where they have to avoid them.
Mm-hmm.
And anger resonates with those men because it's not because they're mad because they can't have they can't find the perfect one. They're angry because they're living in a situation where they can't live the life they want to live. If you are any man in here, if you have ever been in a situation where you could not live the life you wanted to live, the life that you thought would bring you joy, there's almost no situation on the planet more miserable than that.
Mm-hmm.
Being forced to live the opposite of the life you wish you could live, the life you dream about. It is better to be a crackhead who has $1,000 than it is to be a man who is forced to live a life that is opposite of the life he desires for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, I find myself trying to give those men tough love. Like, man, you
Mm.
got to snap out of that. Some men can't snap out of it.
Can't do it. Mm. Can't do it,
So,
man. Yeah,
it is,
it's a tough road, man.
yeah,
The
man.
red pill is not easy, man. It can become to where it's so part of your life that it's easier. Oh yeah, once it really becomes you and you consumed by it and it becomes every fiber of your being. Yeah, that's one thing. But man, the process, man, it's a lonely hard road. And
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention, and I mentioned it before, but I just want to just reiterate and emphasize men want to live their lives for women, and it seeps out. You get a lot of guys who talk about getting money, but the whole reason for the money is not for themselves, not for their future, not to travel, not for their own security. The reason behind getting this money, I'm talking about red pillars on YouTube, but the reason behind getting money is for female validation. I'm not talking about just a pump and dump thing. Like, I'm talking about they want to get this money so they can find them a wife. And I mean, that's all fine and well in a sense, but if she's with you for that, then once that's gone, that's going to be it. So don't fool yourself. If you're trying to bring them in with money, you're going to have to keep them with money. And if the money's gone, then they gone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you know what, bro? It's that's not even a tough pill to swallow. That is just one of those things that a man just has to say, okay, I better make sure that I continue to get to this money. And I not just get to it. You can get to it, but you got to continue to be generous with it.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave, man, let me tell you something, bro. I know a situation right now. One of my homies in my hometown, man. Shout out to B Ham. He he has a chick, man. No, she's pregnant right now. When he met her, he paid her. Like for their first interaction, like he broke bread. Even now, man, she's about 7 months pregnant with his seed, bro. Do you know that every time he links up with her, man, he still has to break bread with her, bro.
Wow. Has
He is
to.
still breaking bread. She will not afford him the luxury of intimacy if he does not break bread.
Wow.
And now she carrying his seed, bro.
And
That's crazy.
she has him trained.
Yeah.
That's female game, has him trained. And it's only a matter of time before she gets bored with that.
Yeah. Wait a minute, did I
Nobody
call him
wants
my
to.
homie? Nah, that's not my homie, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know him. I know him from my hometown, man. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but I tell you this, bro. When it comes to the red pillar on this platform, the most difficult thing about making determination about, if you care to make the determination, it's not like we got together and said, let's make a list of the red pill brothers who are truly red pill. the most difficult thing about determining if you're red pill or if someone that you're listening to is red pill is that the majority of the interaction between us as Americans, the majority of our interaction within large groups at least takes place online.
Absolutely.
And as I stated earlier, a man can be whoever he wants to be online. But here's how you tell. When a man, this is how I tell. When a man attaches his value, his determination as a red pillar or whatever he claims to be strictly to his online personas, his social media accounts, his subscribers, his followers. If every time a man says, I'm this, just look at my followers. This is what I represent. Just ask my subscribers. Women love me. Just look at the women who look at how many women I got subscribed to me. That man is in the terrible situation of living vicariously through his social media personas. He cannot reference his real life. Now, none of us get on here and spew. None of us tell our life story here. I mean, when it's relevant to topics, we're pretty open about our history. But we don't come on here. I've been to your channel 1,000 times, bro, and I ain't never seen you make a video, man, about what's going on in your life that day. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen you make a vlog. You know what I'm saying? Never. So when a man cannot reference his real life as it pertains to who he presents himself as, then he has a lot of negative energy in his real life, man. Because it's natural. It's natural to identify yourself with how you live. It's just a natural inclination for men. If men who got money, they post things on Instagram, flashy shit. They got cars, they got jewelry, they flash things that pertain to having millions of dollars. And that's just how it is, man. So those brothers, man, I really sympathize with them because, I'm a big proponent of mental health assessment for men, especially black men in this society. There are a bunch of men out here, man, who are mentally disturbed and just have to fight through the battle every day. So, yeah, that was kind of off topic, man. If I get off topic, man, somebody say something in the chat, man, be like, yo, hey, what you talking about, brother?
Let me just shout out Mose Pierre. He sent the PayPal donation. He says, Shalom, brother, showing some love from New York City. Says you and BOA like the Genesis and Deuteronomy of the game. appreciate that, brother Pierre. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's real. Moise Pierre, the homie Moise Pierre is in the building. As a matter of fact, Moise Pierre, I appreciate that. Appreciate the PayPal donation, brother. I just got my alert. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I said Genesis and Deuteronomy. So, hey, you know what, man? Let's talk about this, man. Is it possible that a man knows he's red pill, but he continues to willingly live a blue pill life? Is it possible for a red pill man to live a blue pill life?
I'm going to say no, because when the red pill is in you and not just on you, it's almost impossible to live blue pill life long term. Of course, we find ourselves in situations, man. A guy may find himself, in a monogamous relationship that he's legally bound to. I've had a lot of guys like, man, if I would have just known better, I wouldn't have married her. And in fact, a lot of guys say that. So he has a blue pill existence, but he has a red pill awakening. And that's very troubling. But for him, staying in that blue pill situation actually will work out better than trying to be in a red pill situation, because he's seeking, he may lose his children. Definitely child support may be coming, alimony, depending on what so you got a lot to lose. So a lot of times they just have to swallow their pride, man, and say, you know what, it's wise for me to stay in a situation because the one on which she can pull the trigger anytime if she don't like something. And that's the danger of not having a red pill, man. You find yourself, you'll put yourself in a situation where you can lose any and everything that you may have, man. But this is how much men love women. I believe guys know inherently, man, and instinctually that legal marriage is not the way to go. But they do it not because they think it's the right thing to do, because that's what she wants. And men love to give women what they want. So he has a blue pill existence, but a red pill mind, man. So he struggles every day, but he has to just make do with what he's used to. So can a man be, red pill and blue pill? Nah. He can stay in situations for a little while, but sometimes he has to make do, man. But for guys who are not in that situation, if you find yourself back into the blue pill situations of your own making, that means that you really aren't with the red, that you really are blue through and through. And stop playing with yourself, man. Be honest with yourself and just go on and be blue. Go on and just say, you know what, forget it. I can't do this, man. I can't, stand on my own 2 feet. I got to give her some control. I have to think like everybody else. I have to, do what everybody else do. I have to follow the crowd. Just go on and keep it.
Man,
Yeah.
that's a sad situation, bro. You know what I'm saying? After the craziest thing is watching men. It's getting tougher to respect any man around me who is actively living a blue pill life. Because if you've been around me any extended period of time, just long enough to have a conversation, my conversation is always going to go alpha. You know what I'm saying? Everything, no matter what we're talking about, we could be talking about dogs, and my conversation is going to go in the exact same direction, no matter what the topic is.
Mm,
So, and I know
that's
that I'm not the only source of this information, man, because you know what, bro? This is the first time in my life that I interact with more men who are taking the red pill than I interact with blue pill men. Like,
mm,
I mean, it is really, really starting to spread, man, where men are at the very least considering red pill ideas.
mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, man, it's a joy. I still can't sit down and have a serious chop up with these dudes because they kind of, there are more questions about the red pill than anything. And I'll be honest with you, man, I create too much content to want to sit down and have a conversation with some cat, man, about this stuff, man, because I just point him to a video or something.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah, man,
makes sense.
it's getting real out here, man, to where I think, man, it's just getting so bad that the nemesis is becoming so pompous with her
Mm-hmm.
displays that it's getting to the point where men are just starting to feel like they're being treated a certain way, and so the red pill awareness, man, it's on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, man.
And yeah, and it's on the rise, man, and it's a beautiful thing, for you and for myself to be a part of that, man. And not only just us, everybody within the sound of my voice, we are all a part of this awakening, man. And you're making moves because if it wasn't actually the message wasn't get out there, then we wouldn't have what we have today with this ad apocalypse that's upon us once again. We wouldn't have that if it wasn't hitting home somewhere, you know. So they're afraid of this awakening, man. They're afraid of this.
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Let me ask you this, Ram. I can ask this about the pills. Like, is there just red pill and blue pill? But the only other option that we ever hear about is purple pill. But do you believe that there are as many different distinctions for, I'll say, manhood types? Like, I recently heard a brother say he's a theta male. I didn't
Mm.
stay long enough to listen to what the hell that means, but
Whoa.
you know what I'm saying? I didn't stay long enough
Yeah.
to listen to what that means, but I'm like, hold up, man. Like, is there going to be there's going to be a type of man for every every letter in the Greek alphabet?
Yeah, man. And that just goes to show you, man, anybody can just make up stuff as they go. But the thing is that it's really, for the most part, when we discuss it, in my opinion, there are corollaries and different parameters and different levels, true enough. But it's either you believe what you're being taught or you questioning it. And no matter how you present yourself with that, I think one thing we can agree on, though, as red pillars, um, we don't put ourselves in a situation to be used and unappreciated by the female. I think that's probably one thing that has to stick out. Although I know a lot of red pill content creators who claim they would get a license. I don't know why, but I wouldn't even really consider those guys red pill because I can see if you were in that state already, but why would you put your hands? I mean, your fate in the hands of the state and you know someone who has two minds. Why would you do that to yourself and for what? So when you really think about it, man, to me, it's only either red or blue, alpha or beta. Um, and a lot of times people are saying the same thing, but they just want a different phrase. They want a different phrase other than red pill and alpha. You know, then just by virtue of a man going his own way, that's alpha. And anytime being alpha or going your own way, anytime that's predicated on someone else, and that's not really what it is. That's another thing about men. We are autonomous to a degree. Yeah, we like to be communal now. At some your own man. And anybody who's willing to be their own man and refuse to be used and abused by anybody else, man, that's you on your way to being red pill and alpha. What you think about that, bro?
Bro, I think that's the first step. That's the first step. At whatever age you do it, that's the first step. It's a simple thing of self prioritization. You wake up one day and you realize that from now on you're going to be your priority, and
Mm-hmm.
anything that even seems like you're prioritizing someone else, you distance yourself from
Mm-hmm.
it. And that's why a lot of these men are the majority of the MGTOW men I know are not going to be. They might get caught up in something, but they're going to be caught up in a relationship again. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee some of these brothers ain't going that way anymore. To the point where some of them say, man, they don't even want no woman at all. But yeah, I truly believe that the first step to making the transition, the thing is when you're beta, blue pill, when you're a beta male simp mangina, it doesn't really matter which route you take as long as it's opposite of the route that you've been taking. Like
Absolutely.
in the beginning, you don't need to claim nothing. You just need to be doing something different, going in a different direction. So if you have to, say you're taking red pills, if you're in a, red pill, blue pill, purple pill rage, whatever you want to call it, if you whatever it is. So I think the problem is the main thing is this. I mean, I'm a content provider and I live my life a certain way and I label myself according to how I live my life. I take that label on, I put it on a shirt, I wear it, it's on my hat. But
Mm-hmm.
all it's about, man, is how you live your life. You can claim whatever you want to claim, but if the fruits of your life don't bear it out, then you're just claiming something. You
Absolutely.
false claiming. And I
Absolutely.
think the problem is men tend to get into the habit, and most of the men who do this, that like I've never heard, I don't challenge anyone on who they say they are. I challenge men on their actions. I never look at a man and say you're beta because I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
You're beta because of the way the life you accept for yourself, the type of dominion you accept over your life by the nemesis. And
Mm-hmm.
these are the things that make you beta. But those men who are beta will have a tendency, they attack based on labels. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't label yourself that. No, you're not that. You can't be that. I don't care what your life says. I don't like that term. So I think the problem is a lot of men are caught up with the terminology as opposed to just listening to the information that we give, man. I don't listen to your content, man. Here you just saying Ilmore, 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 nigga, Ilmore. I'm telling you, Ilmore. You know what I'm saying? You give up bits of information that if a man puts them all together, you give up crumbs. You give up 20 minutes of crumbs because these men who need this content can't really take it in a big lump. So you got to crumble up the cornbread in a bowl for them.
Mm-hmm.
And as you spread it out, they take as much of it as they can in a particular time. That's why when you hear
Mm-hmm.
men say, man, I listened to this, I had to come back and listen to it again. And those two, I listen to that, I listen to that every day. It's
Mm-hmm.
because that content is so deep for that particular man that he has to take it in small portions. That's probably his
Mm-hmm.
trouble area. And so he has to
Mm-hmm.
take it in small portions. And I think that the labels, man, I wish we could just really just do away with the labels, man, and just,
Mm-hmm.
and just make the determination either you're a man or you're a boy. Those are the
Yeah.
labels we should use. You
Yeah.
know, if I'm alpha, I'm a man. I'm red pill. Well, I always say, man, I'm not a man. I'm alpha. But for the conversation that we're having now, there are certain ways that a man lives. There's certain ways that a boy lives. If you're a boy, yeah, your mother tells you what to do. She has dominion over your life. If you're a grown man and your woman has dominion over your life, you're a boy. You're still a boy. And I think that's what it is, man. Too many labels out here, and brothers just, hell, man, there's 1,000 umbrellas out here. Pick one.
Man, and I think too many labels just makes for confusion too, man. I think we should is audience, man. Like I need for brand, but anybody who has a channel, you're your brand of your own. I think that you try to do too much, you just add in confusion. And I think at some point, even though every man is his own man, at some point, we need to probably need to share like common language to it. But that probably never happened. But I think it's confusing because I mean, define red. So it's like, wow, what appeal? You got when you got beta, you got theta, now you got theta, like you said. So I mean, it's just at some point it gets oversaturated and just convoluted, And I think in the future, hopefully, we can do a better job, like you saying, simplify it, But yeah, I'm with you on that, bro.
Yeah, certainly, man. Certainly, I feel like, or either that, man, or we all just, we just take on all the labels. You know what I'm saying? Why can't the Ilmore be Alpha? Why can't the Alpha be Ilmore? Why can't we all just, you know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? I think the problem is, man, is that as men, we have been so divided by everything around us that a lot of times we'll take on divisive practices without even thinking about it. So if what I'm saying is the opposite of what you're saying, like we can't coexist, we can't build anything, we can't even have a conversation toward building because we're opposites. But are we really opposites? Like how much different can I be from the majority of black men? Yeah, I say I'm different. I view things differently. I have different experiences. They've developed me into the man that I am today. But the only difference between me and the blue pillar or the beta male is his willingness to continue to accept the things that have shown themselves to be detrimental to his existence.
Mm-hmm.
Acceptance is the only difference. And I feel I think every man, every blue pillar has to he now can he be can a beta male be alpha?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think you can be you can't be a beta male at heart. Like you said earlier, bro, we're talking about the heart of a man.
Mm-hmm.
In your heart, if you're beta in your heart, there's nothing you can ever do to be a short of dying and being rebirthed as another being. Nothing you can do
Mm-hmm.
to wake up one day and say, "Hey, I'm alpha now." You can't.
BOA, how many? If you had to give a percentage, uh, how many? What do you think the percentage of blue pill men it is?
You still there, bro?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Repeat that question for me, man. You
Oh,
kind of
okay. Yeah,
went in and
this
out there.
mic is really acting up. I might have to get a new one. I said, what do you think the percentage of blue pill men in this world is versus blue pill and beta? What do you think the percentage of red pill men are?
5%.
5% red pill.
5% red pill.
Yeah.
And really with the way social media is quickly changing men into lustful, I mean, like driven that once you're driven by lust, if you're driven by lust, you remove the ability of foresight because you already know what you want. And if that thing is available, you use your ability to think outside of that box.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I think 5% may be being generous. About 5%. I think 5% is a good strong number, man, of truly red pill men. Now, there are men who are transitioning, but if we're talking about red pill men, we're talking about alpha versus beta, red pill versus blue pill. I think it's 5%, bro.
I'll probably go with maybe 2%. And let me tell you why. Because when I look at it in my life, um, my job and the people that I know, the people in my family, I can't think of a red pill guy outside of YouTube. I just really can't. I mean, I have met a few red pill men back in the day, but currently, nah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I got you clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I really can't I don't really see red pill men. I ain't never ran up to a guy that was just naturally red pill, man. I just don't see it. So I think it probably varies by location, possibly, but man, I'm hard pressed to think of someone who is red pill that I know. Out of all the guys I know, all of the homies that I grew up with, I want to say out of all of them, I may know maybe three. Out of all the guys that I've ever known in my life, maybe three or four, max. So I'm gonna go with a little bit under 2%.
You know what, bro? I mean, when I said 5%, man, I was really just thinking about YouTube. You know what I mean? So because I really I can't identify with any, like, I don't know personally, man. I don't know any truly red pill men personally, man. Like I know quite a few who are transitioning, but transition could mean a lot of things.
Mm,
Transition simply means that you see that there's a different route that you need to take and you're moving in that direction. But let's say if there are 10 steps and you're transitioning up the stairs, if you're on the ninth step, totally different from being on the second.
yeah, yeah.
So, transition could mean, like, I don't even try to get into the levels of transition. Transition means one thing to me. It means like it means you haven't arrived yet. And if we're talking about men who've arrived, only ones I know on YouTube, bro. So I go 2%, man. Hell, I go 1.3%, because to be perfectly honest with you, I can't even say that. There's a whole lot of truly red pill cats on YouTube, man. If their content and the things they talk about is any determination of their true red pill character.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's small, bro. I mean, the number is really truly small, and
And I think men were more red pilled back in the day. But I think in the outside world, right there, I mean, the red pill is growing a little bit. I mean, a little bit, but it's so incremental and so minute. It's not really making a huge dent. Uh, but what we see is the information is out there more. So when we said earlier about how people are becoming aware, yeah, people are becoming aware of the red pill, but it's going to be rejected most of the time. Most of the world is going to be this way, and it's beginning to be more so this way. I mean, the current generations, the guys in their 20s and teens, man, I mean, they're completely programmed.
yeah, yeah, those boys are 100% hounds, man. Like, they're on the prowl constantly. And the worst thing in it, when you think about this, brother, think about all the things that are taking place in the world right now,
Mm-hmm.
all of the situations you could be in. The majority of young men, the worst thing in the world for them is to not be able to get a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the bottom. That's the cellar of their existence. They don't think it can get any lower than that. And the
Mm-hmm.
only way you can feel that way about any particular thing is if it is your primary focus in life. And the reward is so minimal that I can't imagine why something so uh, useless, fruitless, would be your focus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 100% blue pill. And that's not going to change anytime soon, man, because everything around us perpetuates that type of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Only we perpetuate red pill behavior. You know what I'm saying? We'll get some mountain of blue pill content every single day.
Oh yeah.
And then the blue pill content can be on the surface, loud and proud. It can be boisterous.
Mm-hmm.
It can be whatever it wants to be.
Exactly.
We got to worry about being doxxed, man.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
and it could just be, it could honestly be the cats we know on YouTube, man. So that takes us down to about 0.1%. You know what I'm saying? In
Yeah, I
reality,
think
man.
that's about it, bro. I think that might be it.
So,
Yeah.
and that's not to say, let me give a disclaimer here, man. That's not to say that if a man isn't red pill, no, I'm not going to deal with him on any level. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, there's business out here, and To be perfectly honest with you, if the red pill numbers are that low, then that means the business owner red pill numbers are that low, probably even
Mhm.
lower. So, I'm not saying that, man, that he needs to be cast away or anything like that. Now, there's some men who should be for things they do, but just because you're, not readily red pill, then hey, man, I mean, there's guys who make great content, man. You know what I'm saying? They make great content about what they talk about.
Mhm.
So, but I'm getting to the point, man, where I'm starting to just really just, man, flock to red pill content, man. I'm down to listening to four people, bro.
Mm.
Like really, I am, man.
Wow.
I listen. I'm a wildlife buff, man. So when it comes to that, I mean, as far as like in our genre, in our realm,
Mhm.
I'm down to listen to four people, man.
Wow. That's still man, that's saying a lot though.
Yeah,
That's saying a lot. Just four, because it's a lot of channels, man. If
yeah,
you
man.
put it all together, it's at least 1,000 channels,
Yeah,
if not more.
bunch of them, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying I never listen. Well, I'll say this: I'm down to actively
Oh yeah.
actively
Oh
following
yeah.
four people, four
Yeah.
channels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but somebody throws. Yeah, I listen to every now and then, man. Everybody catches lightning in the bottle sometime, and they just there's sometimes they're just great topics.
Oh
And
yeah.
but when it comes to clicking the bell, getting alerts, getting notifications when the video comes out, there's only four cats I get notifications from.
Yeah,
And
and I'm pretty much the same way. It's a couple of guys who I'm always try to check out their information. Some guys I may or may not, but I set them down to maybe I probably got about maybe 8 or 9 guys. I'm probably always gonna check out their content. Everybody else, if it's something I like, I'll
yeah,
go through. But yeah, but it's a couple of new cats out there that I'm starting to listen to more and more too. But so that's why I'm going maybe up to about 12. But I've been disappointed in a lot of guys too, man. I just realized that not everybody thinks the same, and I'm fine with that. So I don't mean disappointed in the sense that I'm not going to listen to their channels, but I realize I'm a different kind of red pillar than other guys. You know,
right.
I don't see things like that. Certain things ain't come off my mouth because I just can't fathom it. Like I was saying before, and I understand this is how people live, and I ain't saying you have to think like I think, but when guys say, "Oh, well, he cheated on her" and all this other stuff, not that I don't associate with guys like that or would listen to them. It's like, oh man, that's not my mindset. And I don't even know what you call it. I mean, is it super red pill or extreme red pill? Because I got some views, and I ain't gonna even, on your channel talk about, those videos I got on Black Realm for Vengeance, man. But you
I
know,
know it, bro.
that's the
Believe
way
me,
I
I
see
know it.
things, and a lot of guys don't see stuff that way, and that's fine. I ain't saying something wrong with that, but it's like, man, am I even just red pill, man? I think I'm way on the other side, man. I think I'm, you know, a little bit different.
Right, right. And I mean, the thing is, bro, I think just keep it simple. We're talking about the levels of red pill awareness. I think, man, the majority of the cats, man, just not on my level. And I think that's what you're saying. They're just not on your level of red pill. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I mean, they may get there one day. Anybody can
Mm-hmm.
make it to any level of red pill. I mean, all you got to do is keep growing. But as a man, depending on how beta you were, it's like if you were super beta and I was just a little bit beta, you may travel 50 yards from beta and get into 50 yards worth of red pill. You travel half a football field into red pill. You're like, man, I'm so far from where I was, man. Wow. But if I was already on the 40-yard line, the
Mm-hmm.
50-yard line ain't that far from me. So I'm gonna keep going. And it's just that simple, man. It's all about, I feel like every man should just get to the point where he's living a life that the man in him is satisfied with. Not the
Mm-hmm.
beta male in you, the true masculine man in you is satisfied with.
Yeah.
Beyond
Yeah.
that point, everything else is just growth for the sake of growth. And I mean, I'm a growth for the sake of growth type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I noticed that too, man. There's a lot of cats, man. That and the craziest thing to me, man, is to listen to content change. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Red pill content start to be less red pill.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, how does this even happen? Like, I've never seen anybody who a red pill be less red pill,
Mm-hmm.
but it happens, man. It
Yeah, it
happens.
does. It does.
So,
Definitely rough out here.
man, we'll get into this. I know you want to ask me a couple of questions, man.
Yeah. Just one in particular. because this is the alpha sphere, right?
for sure.
So my question basically is this: are you born alpha, or can you become alpha? Is it nature? Is it nurture? What's your take on that?
I think that there's gonna come a time where a man can distinctly be born alpha. I think my son was born alpha.
Mm,
I mean, he's only 9, so it's gonna take some time to tell, but he's just never felt any kind of way about a girl not liking him or anything. Like
mm-hmm,
even as a 5-year-old, man, he'd come home and tell me, man, some girl didn't like him. I was like, well, what'd you do? I just told her I don't care if she don't like me, and I just went somewhere else. I was like, all right, and so he'll say, this girl right here, like she said she don't want to play with me anymore. So I said, okay, but I won't never play with her again. I like never. He said, nah, never. I said, what about fifth grade? He said, I would never play with her again, Dad. I was like, hey man, I don't know if I was like that when I was 5. You know what I'm saying? But
mm-hmm,
he's cutthroat with it. But that still left it. That's got to be determined later on down the line. But to this point, I don't really believe that you can be born alpha, but I also don't believe that you can be born beta. I think that you have more of a propensity to be one or the other.
mm-hmm,
If your dad was super beta, your granddad was super beta, your great granddad was super beta. If you could trace your history for 100 years and never betas in there, then
mm-hmm.
genetically you're genetically predisposed to be beta.
Absolutely.
Bodybuilders talk about genetics a lot. My
Yeah.
shoulders are big because of genetics. My dad's shoulders are big. It's the
Mm-hmm,
same thing with your mindset. We think about heredity as something you get. We think about it physically, either your physical makeup, your color, your eyes, your propensity or probability of having certain diseases or something like that, but we never think about the mental aspect of heredity. And
mm-hmm,
if your dad was alpha and your granddad was alpha, you're going to have a greater propensity to be able to pull that alpha out than the man whose granddad was beta and his dad was kind of sort of purple pill.
mm-hmm,
He never got out of purple pill rage phase. So I think that the potential to be one or the other is what we're born with.
mm-hmm,
And I do believe that there are men who are born who have such a potential, a propensity for beta-itis, that no
mm-hmm.
matter how much alpha energy or red pill information you expose them to, they're gonna have a propensity to always fall back into being beta.
Always. Yep.
And by the same token, the man who is born with the propensity to be alpha, and I do believe at those early impressionable ages, from the ages of 1 to 5, those
Mm-hmm.
ages are going to determine what your propensity is really going to be. And a lot of times, if you never deal with, hopefully, you never dealing with girls at that age, not on that level. That's 9 was young for me, but that's hey man. But the environment around you, if you're around in a situation, if you grow up in a household, man, where your mom treats your dad like a sucker all the time, talk to him bad,
Mm-hmm.
do him any kind of way, man, that's going to affect you tremendously from the ages of, I say, birth to 7. And it's better to be in an environment where you ain't even got a dad than to be in an environment with a beta male dad.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't believe, man, it hasn't been proven yet that a man can be, but I'm trying to with my son. But it hasn't been proven yet because I don't think I was born alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I had some things occur early on in life. Namely, I talked about this in a vid, man. My relationship with the nemesis who birthed me. Um, that kind of pointed me in this direction. But prior to that, I'm quite sure I had just as much. I could have been a whole lot more beta than I turned out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't believe right now, man, that it can be determined that a man can be born alpha. But I also don't believe a man can be made alpha. Like as a man, if you're a beta man,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't gonna wake up one day, man, and just be alpha for no reason. I tell you like this, Ram. There are men who are in beta situations. All men have been in beta situations. I said I hadn't, but then I just realized that I had been in one just tonight. There is a man in a beta situation who hates it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't fit right. He feels like less of a man. He's miserable in that situation. It's causing him to drink. It's causing him to to take chances with random chicks just because he knows his energy, his masculine energy is being suppressed. There's another man in that situation who loves it. He couldn't imagine it being any other way.
Mm-hmm.
And that man right there will never wake up one day and say, I hate my life being with my wife. He's going to take it on the chin all the time. So I believe that, uh, to answer your question, I don't believe that a man can be born alpha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like I think what happens possibly is that a man could be born with certain alpha traits, and through time, he can decide to suppress those traits or grow in them. And I think the same thing for the beta. I think the beta can. I think a man is born with probably more beta traits than alpha traits, and he can decide to, suppress those beta traits or add to those traits. So I think in a sense that, you know, as a man born alpha has like the raw materials in him to sustain the alpha mentality, whereas the beta male just doesn't. So I think the only way you can awaken from red to blue, from beta to alpha, is you have to have something within you already that has to be awakened at some point. Now, at any point, you can decide to suppress it or grow with it. And I think it just takes a certain type of guy that wants to grow with it. And the type of guy that can grow with it are those who can overcome difficulties and still be that man, which is the hardest part. Hardest part.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, I will say this. I see the homie, I think it's a Paragon. Paragon said, damn, BO, ain't no hope for a brother. Now, this is what I'm saying, man. This is the thing. I think men should not think about being alpha because, just to be perfectly honest with you, the majority of men just aren't going to be alpha. That doesn't mean you have to live a beta life. You can take the principles of alpha, the principles of red pill, apply them to your life, and not live a beta male simp mangina life just because you have a propensity to be beta. Your lifestyle is what bears this out. Now, is it going to be tougher for you? Yeah, because there's going to be an internal pull from you. And I'll give you a perfect example. You mentioned Sandman earlier. When I was listening to Sandman earlier content, Sandman was always saying the reason that he stayed away from women is because he knows himself. He knows that if he meets her and spends time with her and she seems like she's good, he's going to get caught up.
That's
Yeah,
smart.
it takes a man to admit that
Yeah.
his best recourse is to stay away. And there are other men who employ the pump and dump tactics, the you know, uh, you know, uh, knock them to sleep. That's what man, that's what man is known for saying. But
Right.
you have to understand who you are as a man, and so yeah, just because you are not going to be alpha, I think so what? Who cares? Just
Mhm.
don't live a beta male simp mangina life.
Yeah. And
That's
that's
really
what
all that matters.
and that's what I see too. A lot of guys put guys down who say they don't want to deal with the female at all and just go, although that's not for me, it never been me, and I never plan on it. I have a tremendous amount of respect for guys to say, you know what? Um uh this stuff is dangerous. I'm gonna just go ahead on and suppress it all the way. And if that's his goal and he can become desireless, to me, brother BOA, I don't really think there's too many greater things a man can do than shut off his libido, man. I think that takes an awesome amount of concentration, intestinal fortitude. I think that's probably one of the greatest accomplishments a man could have. I'm talking about that's greatness, literally. Shut all of that. His need for companionship, the need to jump in the sack, all those things. If you can cut those off completely, man, that is powerful. Who never get play anyway. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about a guy who, can and decides not to. That's powerful, man. I wouldn't
Yeah,
do it, but man, you have to respect a guy that can do that. A great amount of respect. I can't put a guy like that down, not even for a minute.
bro. I just came off a 16-month sabbatical.
Yeah, I know you
But
do that. Yeah, yeah. Can you tell me a
I
little
mean,
bit about that, bro?
I normally just go 6 months out the year, man. Like I got there before I even knew it, but I
16, huh?
I've been focusing on starting a new business, man. And I'm the type like this, man. Like when I'm focused on getting money, I just block everything else out. You know what I'm saying? When I'm focused on my grind, I block everything else out. I don't do nothing that has anything to do with, so-called social enjoyment. So it's
Mm.
easy for me to lock in because I can block myself off from everything and just go, I just go momentary monk. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Wow, that's
the
powerful.
thing is, man, but I'm gonna be honest with you. When I woke up and realized it, I was like, oh, what the hold up, man. How did this even happen? But literally, man, like that's the first time I've ever had that type of tunnel vision focus on strictly on what I was building.
I
And
think that
go ahead, bro.
I think that makes you a sage, man. I think that type of focus and concentration and that type of discipline, I think that puts you head and shoulders, man. I think that makes you great, brother. Because that is a hell of a lot of self discipline, man. Self discipline that most guys won't ever achieve, man. To be able to concentrate and focus that much on your passion, on your purpose, on your goals, that's unbeatable right there, brother. Unbeatable,
Yeah, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
man. In fact, success is pretty much guaranteed. With I've never seen anyone with that type of focus and drive not be successful, man. I ain't never seen it, man. It's only a matter of time.
And you know the crazy thing is, man, I learned it from I picked that the first person I ever seen do that. I won't say I picked it up from because it there were times when I didn't apply it. So I think once you pick something up, you apply it regularly all the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
won't even claim to have picked it up at that age. But there was this cat, man. He was lived in the projects, man, in my area, man. And I was a youngster, man. This is before I have even not before I thought about it, before I, jumped into it. And, word was on the street, man, that, what I'm saying, that he had a big bird and he broke it all down to tens, man.
Mm.
All down. And literally wore the same clothes until he
Mm.
got off of it. Now, of course, he was taking a bath and all that, but
Right.
he literally hit the block with the same clothes on, man.
I've
And he
seen that too,
posted up
bro.
in the projects, man. This man,
Yeah.
he said it took him later on once we started doing business, that he told me, man, it took him exactly 37 days, man, to get off of it like that, man. And he was
Wow.
out there with the same clothes on, grind.
And
He
I'm sure,
said every day he
and
put
I'm sure every day,
$5 in
all
his.
day too, right?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. He said he put $5 in his pocket to eat off of every day.
Woo! And you know what, Bill? I seen the same thing, man. I had a buddy of mine. He's passed away now, but I seen a video all he went the whole winter, man, kept warm and same clothes, just out there grinding, man. Looked like he was real poor, real thirsty, man. Riding a bike through the snow type of stuff, man. Had a raggedy car at the most. That man did that for about a year. Next thing I know, Broham Chevy, Cadillac. I'm like, man.
Getting it.
And he ain't buy, I mean, he ain't buy nothing until he grounded out to what he wanted to have, man. And he went from looking like, looking dirty to G'd up, fresh to death, Broham Chevy, 30s and Vogues on it, man. I mean, I had to get tip my hat to the man. Like, man, that's dedication right there, boy.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. And I see some brothers in the comments, man. Let me address this. You see, I see some brothers saying, and Clinks is a young cat, man. I think Clinks ain't even 25 yet. You know what I'm saying? He's a real young cat. So, but I'm gonna tell you what it is, man. Don't look at me as if I'm some, as I'm some master of monkery or anything like that. What you have to understand is my mindset on the nemesis. The majority of them are simply beneath me.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't. I don't associate myself with things that are beneath me
Mm-hmm.
in a needy manner. So it is easy for me to. I say easier for me to block that out because my factor list on determining her worthiness of being in my presence, I normally start striking things off within a 15-minute conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
I know me. I know the energy that I bring to a woman's life. I know the energy I bring. It shows out in every single situation that I deal with the woman in. So I know the value that I bring. I understand the value that I bring. And if she is not worthy of being in my presence, which is an easy thing to do because when you're not out there where they hang, where they go to meet men, then you can kind of stay away. Now I'm not gonna sit and tell you I did this while I was going out every weekend, being in an environment full of bad chicks. Now I ain't gonna tell you that. It takes some preparation and preparing to do this, man. You have to when you trying to do this, man, you have to ward yourself off from the house of temptation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's simply put, man, I just think I'm so far above them that it wasn't as hard as you might think it is because I just think I'm so far above them. Now, granted, it does take a bit of mind control
Mm-hmm.
because you have to realize and remember that you do have access to those that you can just call, whenever you want to go to the court and ball. You can just call.
Mm-hmm.
And not making those calls is the toughest part. Like not meeting new women, that's the easy part. You can avoid that, but not making those calls when they're on standby is the tough part of all that, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, man, I don't want to take any super props, man. Like I'm this master of monkery, man, because I'm it has a lot more to do with my mindset as far as they go.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's 16 months, man. I'll never do that again, bro. Not willingly. I'll be
You
honest with
done
you.
with that, huh?
Not willingly, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I put that feather in my cap, and that cap will just stay old. So, man, you ever did this? Yeah, man, about 20 years ago. That's it, bro.
Mm-hmm. Done with that,
Man,
huh?
yeah, that was because bro. Once I realized how long it had been, man, all of a sudden everything changed. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
started to feel like I was starving, man.
Right. Now you got to get back at it.
Yeah, man. So and even that, man. It was. I mean, that's why I say, man, when I hear, I can't go through a bunch of women at just have a rotation of women consistently, different rotation,
Mm-hmm.
because there are certain elements of there's certain ways that I'm gonna be interacted with. There's certain way a woman gonna treat me, certain way she gonna interact with me, certain level of submission, and you just can't get that if you are constantly rotating them over and over again. Like
Yeah.
you have to train them like that. You have to build them into that. You have to create
Mm-hmm.
that monster.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so yeah, I keep I got a couple numbers, man. I can hit up pretty regularly. Now you do have to change them out from time to time. Like when they change the body style, when they make the body style make your model look old, you might have to change the body style then.
Right. Got to get that new model,
Yeah,
huh?
you gotta get that new model, man. You gotta stay up to date. You want to make sure that you keep your whip you at least keep your whip in warranty. When the
Mm-hmm.
warranty wears out, it's time to flip your whip. So
Switched over. Definitely. Definitely, man. For sure.
yeah, so it's been and one more thing, man. If you a man who's living, and it's to the brothers in the chat. If you know someone, because I know we ain't got no staunch blue pillars in the chat, not in here, but man, if you know someone who's living blue pill and they are intent on living blue pill, do not continue to try to force feed them red pills
Mm.
because that takes away from your own red pill energy. See, this is the thing about red pills. This is why I say you transition from being a taker of red pills to an administrator of red pills. Because if you're still taking red pills, you still need those red pills. You're still sick. You need them. Any
Mm-hmm.
of any of your red pills you spend giving away to somebody else, you're losing your own red pills. There's a level that you get to become a minister of red pills. And so if you're in a situation, man, where if you feel your energy changing because you're trying to assist someone who's blue pill, man, fall back. It's really not your responsibility to force feed men red pills. Just offer the option of a red pill. What do you think
That's
about
true.
that, bro?
Yeah, I agree, man. And it's just like my Hebrew faith, man. I don't go around knocking on doors or proselytizing, man. Somebody asks me a question, specifically, I'm gonna go in. Same thing with the blue pill, man. When I first started, my red pill journey and really starting putting out content, I would, mention certain things to guys and saw their reaction like, no, this is not for everybody. This is for a select few. This is for an elite class, man. And I don't cast my pearls before swine. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. If somebody asks me a question, I'm gonna go in. I got a little buddy of mine, man. He like a little brother to me. He's talking about going and tying a knot, man, and wifing up, a chick that was older than him with a couple of kids, man. And I said, man, I don't think you want to do that. So I gave him my channel, and I think I even sent a couple of your videos to him, man. Try to, talk to the brother. First he was game, but I stopped talking. He started communicating. I've been on this guy for at least 30 years. And my little bro, he disappeared on me because he didn't want to take those red pills. He was, his mind was pretty much made up of wifing up this single mom, man. And I tried to tell the guy, no, man, you don't need that legal documentation, man. It ain't necessary. But he fell off. But I did that because that's my little bro. But for the most part, nah, man, I keep most of the information to myself and just here on the tube.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really the way I do it, man. I'll send somebody to it. I send them a video link, man, to their phone. Man. I shoot them a link to a video, but other than that, man, and I just don't have a whole lot of time, man, for foolishness. And I
Yeah.
feel like, man, if I'm giving you red pills, man, you like, I don't want to take them, and I'm looking at you like a kid who don't want to take medicine, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, I'm giving you the best here. Here, eat this, eat these vegetables right here to make you feel better. I don't like vegetables. You like a kid, man. And I say, the only way to deal with a kid, man, you have to treat them like a kid, man. I discipline children. I send them, put them in time out, man. And it's the same way with women, man. I mean, I do them the same way. I just put them in time out, man. Like, I don't really
Mm-hmm.
have a whole lot of patience, man, for foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
I never did, but like, really, like now, like, man, my patience is almost zero for it, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel like, man, if you blue pill now, man, especially if you've been around me for any extended period of time, man, if you blue pill, man, I'm just gonna cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have time for the energy, man. And I'm gonna tell you another crazy thing, bro. These blue pill dudes, when you go around them, they're women to get the energy from you, and
Mm-hmm.
they be like openly. And it seemed open to me. If I saw it, I'd be like, "Hey, what you doing? What's this about? You trying to get with my homie or something?" Man, they be like flaunting themselves, like they be showcasing themselves, like trying to sit. They put themselves on the auction floor, and I'd be like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" I'd be like, "Homie, you don't see this?" I'd be like, "Man," but I'll tell you, I don't tell the blue pill simp about it. I did that before. Told the blue pill simp, man, that his girl was, man, coming at me like that, man. He went and confronted her about it, man. She told him some other story, man, that I was coming at her, man. That fool believed her, man.
Wow.
So I said, man, you know what? I ain't gonna cut her. I ain't gonna smother, but I ain't gonna tell you about her. You know what I'm saying? That's you find that out on your own, bro.
And I'm sure at some point he realized, wow, that you was being real.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a wooden bridge, man. Once you burn it, it's good.
It's over with.
For real, I'm a wooden bridge, man. So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, let me ask you something, brother, right quick. And this don't have nothing to do with the topic, but I haven't discussed this with anyone yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you think, man, about the fires that are taking place in California? Do you think it's
Man,
man-made, man, or could this be a sign?
man, I wish it was a sign.
Yeah,
But man, in California it's been rocked by these wildfires for a while now, man. And I mean, it seems like year after year it's the same thing. And it seems like one year is worse than the previous one. And we've been on the planet for a little while. What happened to the stuff like that? I don't remember that going on in the 80s. I don't remember that going on in the 90s. I don't even remember it going on in the early 2000s. So it looks like it's probably the signs of the times, man. I'm starting to really think that. I mean, it's coming slowly but surely. I think this is a sign that, yeah, we probably, this thing's probably going to be wrapped up and folded up like a scroll, man. I think we at that end, man, or close, very close to it. What's your thoughts on that?
man, I when I look at it, just there are a bunch of factors there because I mean this could be anywhere, but it's there is always out there in the forest, in the forest are burning up out there. But man, we're talking about Malibu.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing in Malibu but beaches, man.
Yeah.
How does a fire spread to the beach?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This is and the fact that man, the majority of people in the path, a lot of people in the path of it, man, are these multimillionaire celebrities, man, and their homes are being swallowed up. And you know how we feel about Hollywood, Bollywood, and the damage it does in perpetuating foolishness and pretty much anything that happens in this society that's negative is perpetuated through the big screen.
Hmm.
Big Todd Harris is in the building. What up, bro? Good to see you in the joint. So, yeah, that's it, man. I just want to get your opinion on it, man. Like I think about it, man. I haven't really chopped it up with anyone about it, man. But then, like I discussed earlier, man. I mean, these cats, red pill cats, be like, well, Trump says the forest management, private forest management.
Let me
So
just say this one. I think everybody sleep on is Yellowstone. Been seeing an uptick in earthquakes week by week and month by month. They have geysers that are springing up, man. You know, seem like the heat underground is getting hotter, and you don't really hear any coverage about it. It's kind of hush hush about it for the most part. But Yellowstone is a place to watch. I ain't trying to be an alarmist, but man, I think it may be something going on. Maybe.
yeah, yeah. Hey man, listen, I'm a conspiracy theorist, bro. That's what I am. If you don't give me a conspiracy, I make one up. So, but you know what, bro? Let me ask you another question, man. Before we get ready to, we've been here for a couple hours, man. We know, we you know
Mhm.
try to keep it under three, man, for the most part. Especially a two-man show, man. Now we get five people in here, man. We'll go
Oh yeah,
for
we'll be
five
all night.
hours. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. Let me ask you something, man. What do you think the five? Oh, we can even do three, but I've got five here. The five most beta things that men need to change immediately that you think is
Immediately,
affecting their lives.
man. Immediately. Oh man. The first thing that I would change don't have nothing to do with women. The first thing I would change is I would question everything I was told in the schools, everything I've read in a history book. Question the program that you're receiving through the media. Period. That's the first thing I would start to do, and actually start doing some of my own research. And then after I question everything, the second thing I would do is I would research all the customs and ideas of this Western society and look and investigate that. For example, um, I would look into the reason behind a lot of the holidays. I would look into reasons behind a lot of the mainstream thinking. I would start looking into all things that's succubi centered. I would start questioning all of those things first, and then after that, I would take some self introspection and question my own motives and motivations of why I do things. Am I looking for validation from others? Am I looking for somebody to like me? Am I a people pleaser? Am I living life solely for the accolades and praise of others? Or am I living a life that I want to live according to how my heart is set up? So because a lot of times, unbeknownst to ourselves, we live for other people and live through other people and through the ideas of other people. Um, for instance, if a guy is going to church and he's a tither, you know, he's living his life and he's a armor bearer or on an usher board. You spend a lot of time living for somebody else, buddy. I mean, and ain't nothing wrong with giving donations to what you believe in, man. But that's a whole nother level. Maybe start questioning some of those things, man, and don't do things that doesn't meet your needs and beneficial. So I would look into that too, and then I would start examining my relationships with family and friends, and examine my relationships with whatever woman that's in my life, and see if I'm being served or serving. The question who really is the prize. So I would start looking everywhere, man. Because red pill is just not about the ladies, man. That's a common misconception. It's not just about the ladies. It's about reality in itself. hear it, you have to question it, man. And like you said, you're a conspiracy theorist, and I am too. A lot of that information that if I would put it on my channel kind of get overlooked, but I got a video on mind control and propaganda. I will start to question everything, you know, and try to, this is about breaking out of the matrix. That's the key, breaking out of the matrix. So I would question everything. What about yourself, BOA?
Man, now there are a couple of things on your list that I 100% agree with. The
Mm-hmm.
first thing I would implore men to change is their self perception.
Mm-hmm.
Create and understand your own personal self perception. Your perception of yourself should always be self perception. It seems elementary, but it's not. Men allow so many factors in society to determine how they feel about themselves, what they think about themselves. And I think the biggest determining factor to you becoming the man that you intended to be is to accept yourself for who you truly are, not
Mm-hmm.
who someone else has determined that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, man, I think men should focus on their health. Like, you got to understand, and this goes with, a matter of fact, before that, I'll put at least track your history from slavery. Find out the history of your people in this country. You got time after that to go back and try to trace your history before you got here. But the
Yeah,
majority of men here don't even know the history of their people in this country.
exactly.
And if you go and research that and find that out, the way you view yourself, but not only that, the way you view this society, this government, this culture as a whole will change. And certain things that even down to what we eat, your health will change immediately when you trace your history from slavery, because you'll understand why we eat a lot of the things we eat, why we behave a lot of the ways we behave. You'll
Mm-hmm.
understand these things. If you trace your history from slavery, you'll be a lot less likely to be out here just freaking and creeping around with as many different women as you can. If you trace your history, understand how you've been indoctrinated, not just during your lifetime, but during the lifetime of your ancestors. And some of these things are hereditary habits.
Mm-hmm.
And so that will lead you into being concerned about your health. And as you stated, this is one thing that we both agree on. You will find out the history of these so-called holy days. You'll be
Mm-hmm.
surprised how many of these days are built in recognition of massacres.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy things that take place.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be surprised that while people around here celebrating Christmas, there is no documented evidence of the birthday of Jesus. There's no
Mm-hmm.
they don't know
Exactly.
what his birth date was. You got to
Exactly.
remember, he was supposedly born in, and they were hiding him when he was born because the King Herod was looking to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So his birthday was not known because they hid it. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no legally documented day. This is just a day of commemoration that they use.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving itself, we all have heard about the massacre of Thanksgiving, but what you didn't know is those people weren't those Indian people that were that were on the thing. These were black people that they massacred. They were black people that they massacred. But you have to know your history to
Mm-hmm.
know that you are already here. So I think, and the final thing that I would tell men to implore, and this does have something to do with women.
Mm-hmm.
If it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, throw it in the water and watch it swim.
Mm-hmm.
There is no such thing as a woman who's different from all the others.
Mm-hmm.
There is no such thing. There are two things that are undefeated: the wall and the nature of the nemesis.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If she is born female, she's born with that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So, those will be my things, bro.
Absolutely. Man, that was well said. I'm with you with that, bro. I'm with you with that. The underlying nature will never change, man.
It can't, bro. It simply can't.
Hmm. The only difference is if the society is going to let the nature run wild, or is society going to put brakes on it? And you as a man, you have the same situation with your woman. You don't let her nature run wild, or you're going to put brakes on it. That's pretty much it. Ain't no other way. I'm gonna let it run wild. I'll put brakes on it as an individual and as a society. And when I deal with her, I'm putting the brakes on it. Not saying that that's not going to change the nature at all. No, that's not going to change the nature. No, that's red pill awareness. You're not going to change the nature of it. No, no, no. And always be uh, not worried, but understanding and not trusting, as you say, emotionally unavailable. When it comes, that situation. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, because they can be enjoyed, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I have enjoyable interactions with them. I mean,
Oh yeah,
great
myself too.
interactions with her. I
Yeah.
mean, I enjoy them, man. I enjoy it. I enjoy having them around. I enjoy the submission thing. I enjoy having a little pretty little thing curled up on the sofa, man. With it. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of different. I'm weird, man. So while she's curled up, with her feet tucked up under like a little kitten, man, I'm on the other sofa. Like I don't want to be cuddling and all that. You know what I'm saying? I do like to look at her over there. Over there like that. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like, man, like the things about her, I like to see them. I can't see them
Yeah.
if she's right up under me.
Right, right, right.
So
I'm the same way, man. I enjoy them too. You got to enjoy them, but not too much.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for
You
sure.
know,
I mean, listen, man, if you
can't
can't
become
enjoy
dependent
her,
on
yeah, oh man, bro.
them.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'd rather be addicted to a drug than to be addicted to a female.
Man, because she's more destructive, right?
Yes, sir. you know, it's a drug. A drug might break your pocket, but man, I mean, she'll break your spirit, bro.
Man, that's the truth.
So
That is the
yeah,
truth
we ain't
right
gonna.
there.
We're a 2-man show, man. I ain't we ain't gonna hang in here. We ain't gonna hang in here too long, man. I mean,
It's been about what
listen,
about 2.5 hours round about,
yeah,
right?
we've been in here
Oh
rolling
yeah.
for a minute, man. Been 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah.
So you know how I think that's plenty for a 2-man show. Like this is as long as I go, man. I'm not in here by myself, man. I try to stick around 2 hours, man.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably do more live streams in the future. I think I'll take me probably a little YouTube break, man, with all this demonetization, and try to come up with a game plan on you know putting my energy into something else, man. But
Yeah,
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 man,
yeah. They
it's
actually are. They kind of they're going in with it, man. And that's what it does, man. It kind of you get ahead of steam, man. It kind of kills the steam a little bit, and
yeah,
you're like, man, if I'm gonna get my energy, man, I need a better reward. You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
At least the
exactly,
energy reward.
exactly. And I want well because doing it for the brothers, man. But you do need that motivation, man, and because it takes a lot to make content, man. And I mean, you make content pretty much every day, BOA. So that takes a lot of energy, man. A lot of energy. And that ain't, people think it's easy to do this. Oh no, it's not easy at all.
Yeah, yeah, that's real talk, man. I mean, it's yeah, it does, man. And I think that's the thing. So when we talk to you guys about support, it ain't a money grab. It's just the fact that, man, I think we try to get you guys to understand that when some content come up, man, somebody just worked for hours on that content, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a job, at the very least, a part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
To create that content, man. So I think it's more of a thing like that, man. But like we said earlier, man, y'all, be preparing to, you know, as soon as you possibly can, man, start supporting on the other platforms, man, namely Patreon. Because I mean, we want to keep making video content, and as far as I know, man, Patreon is about the realest game in town as far as being a creator, a video creator.
Yeah,
So,
for sure, man. For sure.
man, if you haven't already, man, and you're in a situation where you can, man, just start funneling over there, man, because there's gonna come a time in the near future where that's where the content is gonna be. I
Oh
just,
yeah.
I feel it coming on, man.
Mm-hmm. And I got a few Patreon subscribers. I think I'm gonna just start pushing that more in the future.
Yeah,
'Cause you got a little bit more creative control over there. So, and a lot of brothers, the name of their game is they'll do a live stream, and then everything else is pretty much Patreon. And I think that's probably the wave of the future.
yeah, yeah. It really is, man. It really is. It's just one of those things where, hey, man, you have to make adjustments, man. When adjustment time come, you make them. You can't let them break you. But I'm,
Hmm.
I'm feeling you, man, on that YouTube break thing, though, bro.
hmm Yeah, you want to do a few other things, refocus your energy a little bit. It's good to take a break from any and everything, man. You got to get that Sabbath in at some point. And I try to toward the end of every year I try to do a little break myself. So what I think I'm gonna do, is focus more on Patreon and put a series on there and stuff like that and try to pump that out. And I think you want to have that other stream because you don't want the message to go away. But it's just like this, and everybody on YouTube is saying this. All the content creators is like, hey man, it's getting rough out here. So your favorite content creators, you might have to dig in deep and really go where the content is at. And what that's going to do is that's going to kind of squeeze out those who not really putting out good content, man.
Right.
It's going to squeeze that out because when the information ain't free, got to be good.
Yeah, for
Got to
sure,
be
for
good.
sure. Believe that. Believe that. Yeah, man, that's and I'm gonna stay abreast of this thing, man, because I honestly, man, I hadn't really been paying attention to how it's affecting other creators. Like I haven't looked at one video, man, with creators talking about it, man. But
A few of me, Mito Darius just did a live stream about it. This has happened like today and yesterday, so this is fresh. And a
whoa,
couple other people have been putting some videos out. Sandman just put one out that I just saw. It was a short video. And they hit him hard, man. And a couple other people. Some people, this is their only source.
yeah,
You got to diversify. It can't be your only source. But yeah. So it's one of those things. We've endured it before, man. I think we'll be able to, that little bit down the line, endure it again. A little bit down the line, man. Everything is like it goes in waves. But
yeah.
yeah, it's a new thing. But yeah, man, we just gotta diversify.
Hey, man, hey, Patreon is the way for the future, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way for the hell. Patreon is the way for the present. It seems. So
Yeah, man. My goal is about 200 to 300 Patreons, and I think I can be okay with that amount. 200 to 300 Patreons. Of course, you want more, but I need. I'm gonna try to push. Good 200 to 300 gonna be the goal, and then pump out content there.
yeah, yeah, certainly, certainly. I think that's a round goal, man. Pretty much for you can't complain about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
brother, I appreciate you coming on with us, man. It's been a long time, been months since we've been in this.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate you having me on here because you be lighting up my panel discussions, man. I love to have you up on there, man, and yeah, you be lighting the fire. I think one of the greatest ones I did, man, panel discussion was with you, Mig, Knowledge Darius, and I think, man, Simpler, man. We cut up on that one, man. I'm hoping we can do that again soon. All three of us. In fact, I would like to maybe put notice out to Mig, Darius, and Think Man Templar, and it just be us and you, all us just alone. No, nobody else, just us
Right.
kicking that. Because man, they love your channel on my channel, man. They love Thinking Man's Templar. They love Micto Darius. So I'm gonna try to bring all you brothers together in the future, man, and kick some real heat, man.
Yeah, hey man, I'm always open to that, man. That honestly, man, that 7 to 8 deep pounder, man, it gets a little hectic, man. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
it do, man.
You get fired up, man, and you cool out by the time it's time for you to talk again, man. Yeah,
Exactly, and that it kind of take away from it. I mean, you like to have people on there engaged in the conversation, but yeah, I think is get oversaturated if it's more than 3 or 4 on there.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think in the future, I'll make it limited, and if I do open it up, it'll be like way toward the end that I would open it up. But yeah, I think I'm gonna panel the discussion. Well, not next time, probably be about 6, 7 people. But I'll try to do something specifically with you, make to knowledge Darius, and thinking man simpler. Hopefully, most out willing.
yeah. Work. Yeah, that work, man. Yeah, hey man, whenever you hit me up, bro, I'm there.
Appreciate that, fam, and I appreciate you inviting me on, man. This is what we do, man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. So, homies, man, I appreciate y'all coming through. However, to show the homie Black Ram 313. I'm gonna let the homie give y'all a holla out, man. You want to say something to the people around?
Yeah, man. I'm glad you mentioned that, man. Shout out to China White, man. She been doing a thing with that moderation, man. Putting the information in the chat. China White, I really appreciate all your support, the support that you give me, the support you give BOA. China White, I appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody Mose Pierre, I think I appreciate your donation, man. And man, this has been a great show. Got Mr. Limber watching, always good to see him. Black Soul Star, Reed Jones, man. It's good to see everybody up in here, man. Chuck Spencer. But yeah, bro, that's about it.
All right. So, homies, I appreciate everybody coming through, man. All the super chats. Yeah, the homie Moise Pierre again, man, for the PayPal donation, man. Yes, we do this thing, man. Don't know when we'll do it again, but you know it's gonna always be lit. And
Mm.
I appreciate the brother Black Ram for coming through, man. Blessing the Alpha Silver's presence again. We ain't gonna hold you much longer than that, man. Again, salute. Everybody bless up. Peace.
Peace.